I mean, 30
So
seconds.
we'll try to start a little bit earlier.
We're allowed.
2 minutes earlier.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to press the magic button. Here we go.
Ready. Set.
Let's go. Let's go. It's Friday night, but it's also Saturday morning.
Yeah. I mean, we're almost there, but someone.
But we are still grooving. Yes. Here we go.
Saturday morning, Friday night, Saturday morning.
And we are live. Hi, everyone. I am Nick.
And I'm Maria.
And today, our special guest is...
No other than Mr. Cool Han Luke himself.
Cool Han Luke Bricks.
Oh my gosh, look at him. Vibrant at 2 a.m. 2.
I know.
This is hardcore viewing right here, everyone. Oh my gosh.
Welcome to Full of Bricks Season 6, Episode 10. Today is March 14th, 2025. And today, our special guest is Mr. Cool Han Luke Bricks.
Yes.
How are you doing this Friday night for us, Saturday morning for you? How are you doing?
Friday.
I'm tired, but I'm alive. That's the main thing. I'm here.
You know, you'll catch up on sleep later on, right? Like that's what I always tell myself too, right?
Yeah, I can sleep when I'm dead.
We're going to have a couple hours of fun.
Yeah.
Where we're going to learn all about Mr. Cool Han Luke here and all of his Lego mystifyings. So
you're in the UK, right?
Yeah.
Because I saw the post that you did on your Instagram, and I was like, what's this? The red dragon. So I googled red dragon with white and green background, and I got Wales. Is that so?
Yeah.
So that's the Wales flag.
Yes.
We're the forgotten part of the UK. Everyone knows about England and Scotland and Ireland, but they always forget about Wales. So,
Yes. No, I learned about that. I was just in your vicinity a couple of weeks ago. Not quite in Wales. I was in London, England, but I will make it up there next time.
How far is London from Wales?
I think it's it's a few hours.
4 or 5 hours?
Yeah, 4 or 5
Oh,
hours.
drive or flight?
Drive.
Oh, drive. All right.
You can fly in an hour, I guess, right? About
that. Yeah, about that, yeah.
Yes. So
and you guys speak a different dialect there, right? Like Welsh?
Yeah, so the native tongue is Welsh. But it does actually vary from North to South Wales as well. So it's a slightly different Welsh dialect. Well, most people in Wales speak English, if I'm honest, but the mother tongue is Welsh. So
yeah.
So you can see down here I've got a Dragoch in my sort of subtitle, which means the red dragon. So.
Very cool.
Oh.
Say that again. You have to
You
pronounce
went
it for us because you went
A Dragoch.
A Dragoch. I feel like you're talking about the Game of Thrones. Like you're speaking in that tongue. I'm like, say it again.
Yeah, well, Tolkien got the idea for the Elvish language from Welsh, so that's why most of the names from Lord of the Rings are actually Welsh names. So
yeah, he was a brilliant linguist, and he was able to implement a lot of this, based on different languages and dialects into.
I don't know if you watched. Oh, go ahead.
Enfys Nest as well from Solo.
Oh, cool.
It's based on a Welsh name, which Enfys Nest sort of translate to Princess Rainbow.
Oh,
it's what about the Loch Ness?
That's Scotland.
Oh, okay, into that. Sorry.
I know. Maybe we could have read more about our geography, but let's talk about the elves over there now.
I don't know if you. Sorry, I don't know if you watch The Traders, but I was watching the UK Traders, and there was one contestant there who was pretending to be Welsh and was doing a Welsh accent. And it was a big deal afterwards that when they found out that she was just putting on that whole Welsh accent the whole time. Would that be a big deal? If someone was pretending to be speaking in English, but had a Welsh English accent, and then
Yeah.
there was a big shock that they didn't.
Yeah, well, I think it was the idea is that apparently Welsh people or the Welsh language or the Welsh dialect is supposed to be more trusting, apparently. So
Yes, that's what it was in the show. That she was
I don't,
doing that
I
on
don't,
purpose to
I
be
don't know
more
whether
trusting.
I don't know whether I'd necessarily agree with that, because my particular type of Welsh dialect sounds a bit gutter to me, in comparison to like a nice English accent, a nice posh English accent. Mine is a bit kind of like, I don't know, some subterranean burr or something, like I live underground. But
No, you sound like Game of Thrones. You sound
oh,
like
yeah.
of the earth. Actually, when I was in London, I couldn't. I had actually. I don't know. I don't know what I was expecting. I think I was expecting everyone to sound like Keira Knightley, or or who's Hermione Granger,
Hermione.
right? And there was actually quite a range of different accents. They all had an English accent, but I'd be like, oh, like that isn't exactly what we're presented in mainstream media, in movies, right?
Mm.
And you're right, with a posh accent, maybe I'm waiting for that, maybe the Queen's English, I don't know.
They just sounded like regular English.
They're all talking in English, but there's like always a different variety, a different flavor, and I'm just like trying to like hear just like the nuances of it. It's so overall like it's still
like
very
multicultural
in it. And then a friend of mine, he lives there in London, and he's a dual citizen.
He's Canadian.
And he's like, oh yeah, like you can actually start hearing like a Spanish English accent. I'm like, you can? And so I guess when you get an ear for it after you like encounter so many different people.
Yeah, well, apparently the UK has got more different variations of this language in terms of like where you go in the country than any other place for such a small area. So like Wales, for example, is the smallest constituency of the UK, and depending on where you are in Wales, the accent sounds, at least to us, completely different. There's about 8 different variations. So where I'm from, where I'm living at the moment in Llanelli, which is West Wales, the accent here is completely different to where I'm from in Wales, which is closer to Cardiff, which is the capital. So I even sound unusual where I'm living compared to where I'm from in Wales. So it's
you'd be like, I'm from Wales. No, I'm from Wales. No, I'm from Wales.
So
no, I'm from Wales.
Listening to us right now, and then speaking to, I guess, other Americans. Well, like we're Canadian, but speaking if you're speaking to other Americans, like on streams or whatever, do you notice that we have a different accent, or does it all sound the same to you? Like
no, I can usually tell the slight differences. Well, it depends. With Canadian, there only there only seems to be kind of 3 or 4 different variations. You got the proper like Mountie style, and then you got the sort of the Canadian bacon style, which is like a boot, and then you got the French Canadian. And then,
let's not have me start that one.
And then the American Canadian, where I can't honestly tell the difference, which I'd say you guys.
But I mean, even from state to state, like in America too, like Midwest, Eastern Coast, and stuff like that. Like there's also a
like there's
South,
the
right?
Brooklyn,
like, of course,
like the Brooklyn accent.
Boston.
There's the Boston. There's the Chicago. Chicago accent.
Midwest.
But within America, usually I can tell because I've got a couple of friends who live out there, and just after speaking to them, I'm like, right, so you're not from where you're living at the moment, right? And they're like, oh yeah, okay. So like Oster, for example. So just speaking to him, I knew he wasn't from the area he currently lives. You can tell he's got a more of a southern kind of accent. It turns out that's where he was kind of born and raised. So I can usually tell a little bit, not too much. But my geography around the US, not so much Canada, but around the US is pretty good, because when I was sick last year, I was kind of stuck at home, very unwell after being in hospital, and I just kind of wanted to learn more about American geography randomly. So I printed out like a blank map of the US with all like 50 states or whatever, and then just learned where and what the names of each state were, so that I could now fill that map in.
Yeah. Wow.
So now I can generally.
Was there reward for that? Like time passing? You're a better neighbor than I am. I mean, I think I know most of where they are.
Self-fulfillment.
Yes. Oh, that's great.
Yeah. It just helps sometimes. So I was struggling a little bit earlier this year, and I was kind of in a bit of a rut, and I just find myself every now and then I might do a crossword, I might do some of my other hobbies, but every now and then I'll just pull this thing out. I've laminated it on a sheet of paper so I can just kind of wipe it, practice it, wipe it back off. And I'm going to try and do that with like I couldn't even do that with Europe, weirdly enough, but I don't know.
There's a lot more in Europe, right? I don't know. Well, I guess the countries in Europe are like the states in the US. There's a whole lot of them. So
You want to say hi to some people in the chat?
Oh yeah, sure. There's a lot who joined us already.
So we have earlier today at 12 noon, we had Brick by Brick together. hello.
Brick together.
And also early we had Fit Lego Guy. Let's go. It's gonna be a cool show.
See, the 2 a.m. guys getting them on the stream.
Never too old for Lego.
Hey.
What's up, everyone? And Joel's Bricks. Oh,
Joel,
no more bricks.
I think he's on break.
Let's go.
just say that.
Go.
He's on break.
And Lego
Woo!
Team B from
This
Australia.
is also from Saturday already.
It's Saturday early. And the Brick Babe.
I don't know.
Hey. We got with a key.
What a key.
Nothing. How you doing, mate?
Hello. And that's about it.
Yeah.
So the Brick Babe says Americans do sound so different. They do.
From the Wales guy.
Yes.
I did fly over Wales on the way there because the flight track always goes north and then over like a trajectory, right? So I think
that's usually when the planes empty their toilets as well.
Yeah. Oh, that's so mean. Okay, how about we enter our first session?
Segment?
Yes, because that was a really good talk on
which is Who
are you?
Cool Han?
And again, over the course of so many seasons that we've been having full of brick, it's actually rarer for us to find that new diamond in the rough. Not that you're rough, but you're a diamond. You know, like we've now been very fortunate to have made a lot of friends and connections through our show and through going to conventions that it's always a welcome back, right? So I was like, come on, we have a who are you tonight?
Yay.
So who are you? Who is the mysterious?
Well, speaking of conventions,
Yeah.
Have you been to Lego conventions?
Yes. At this point, I've worked at more than I've actually attended.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool.
So I attended my first ever brick convention in 2023. Me and my daughter, we just decided to pop along to a kind of what I thought at the time was a relatively small brick convention called Brickfest in the UK. And it was being held in the capital, which is Cardiff. And yeah, we popped along, had a good time, bought a t-shirt, bought some Lego, won a competition.
Oh, cool.
Ooh, what's the competition?
They do like a build in a bag competition. So they give you it's not a
blind bag. You have to build it.
The bag is, you can see through the bag, but it's like you've got to build it.
Yeah.
It's like a little mock type thing. So it was like a little, in my case, it was like a little oasis kind of island with 2 palm trees made of brick and all the rest of it. So they give it to you. They give you so much time, and you got to try and build it in the bag. And it was like, yeah, easy for me because I do that anyway, just for fun. So I was like, right, build, win. And yeah, we had a great time. My daughter was kind of like, I think she enjoyed it, but I don't like, she wasn't like blown away by the idea of it like I was.
You were.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was just like, wow, this is amazing. I need to soak in as much of this as possible. What's up, Ken? So I was just like, okay, the following year, I'm definitely going to go again. And I spoke to my daughter. I said, do you fancy coming? She was like, no, I wasn't that bothered. You know, if you want to go, you go. So, okay. So I actually saw an advert for looking for volunteers for the event. So I was like, I'll give that a go. So I turned up and had a great time. Had lots of fun. But yeah, and obviously that was my first one, so I was learning, but I got hooked. So
what were your duties as a volunteer?
For the first one, I basically was letting people into the event. So we were going through the queue outside and giving away the free set for anybody doing pre-scans of their tickets on this, like the handheld terminal, giving out the free set. There's a free set if you go in, if you pay the extra to go in at early bird. So we're giving those out. Then once that's been completely done, through the back of the queue, back to the front, letting people in, general admission. Then just helping out with some of the events. So tidying some stuff up and all sorts of stuff, basically. While I was there, I was actually quite lucky because the It's funny actually because Whittaky, who was in the chat earlier,
Mhm.
is a good friend of mine and actually one of my co-hosts on the show.
Oh, cool.
I'd picked up something earlier in the year. I kind of want to keep this for show and tell, but also want to show it off now.
Prologue.
Early show and
Spoiler.
tell.
So basically, the brick event in Cardiff shares with the Cardiff Comic Con. So
Okay.
the two share the same arena. Now, if you've got a ticket for the Lego convention, you can actually get into the Comic Con as part of your ticket price, whereas you can't do the opposite. So I was basically back and forth during like breaks and stuff, and Subholder 66, and it turned out I'd taken this little sort of minifig
Oh.
with me just to give to Martin because I was meeting him there for the first time in person.
Okay.
But it turns out that the character on this set, which is Biggs Darklighter from Star Wars,
Yes.
He was there.
was actually there signing.
That's
Wow.
amazing.
So I had him sign.
So
What's it say?
cool.
So the quote in the movie is, "It'll be like old times, Luke. They'll never stop us."
Oh, that's
That's
awesome.
But I had him right. It'll be like old times, Cool Hand Luke. They'll never stop us. So that's
That is awesome.
And as a result, I couldn't give this as a gift then to Martin.
Mine now.
But I had two of them, so that's why I was giving it in the
Oh.
place. So I said next time I meet up with him, I'll give him the other one, the unsigned one.
That's a cool giveaway. That's
Yeah.
You said that was the giveaway, right?
No, this is something I'd already bought.
Oh, you bought it already.
I brought it with me just by chance because I was meeting Martin at the event. So Martin is Whittaky, so my co-host on Cool Hang Luke. So
Well, it's cool that you volunteer in a lot of these shows because I know those shows are on the shoulders of volunteers. Like we're happy. I wish we could volunteer ourselves too, but our time there is so limited too. But again, a show runs on volunteers, so it's awesome.
Brickfest is that more of an expo or a convention? Like, is there an AFOL?
Few days before the actual
Thursdays.
no,
Thursdays,
it's literally they're literally one day events. So
okay.
I went from doing that one in Cardiff, and I went up to London. So I got a hotel, got a coach, and everything. Stayed up in London, did one of the events there as well. And on that event, they put me in charge of doing a few of the like running a few of the events for the kids and stuff. So building a highest tower, building a mosaic, things like that. And just after doing like a couple, the guys were like, "Oh, you can do this. You're better at doing this kind of thing." Because I was, with the job I do, I was like more comfortable, like making announcements and stuff like that. So I was just like, "Right, everybody, you've got 30 seconds to build a tower." So even though it was only my second time volunteering, I felt like I was like running these events straight away, and it was really, really fun. And they do these lots of little sort of events within there. So there was like 7 minifigures, each holding a letter. So you had to go around all the mocks in the event hall and hide one of these minifigures in each of the mocks. And then the kids are supposed to go around and find all these characters and the letters that go with them. And then, that's right. And then with those letters, they're supposed to solve the anagram. And then they come to you at the desk for clues. So I can give them clues because I obviously placed the letters. Help them solve the anagram.
That's
which
fun.
Is quite challenging for the kids. So I give them some clues and I say, well, I'll give you a clue for a fist bump and just, that kind of stuff, interacting with the kids. Because it's something I do as part of my job anyway, interacting with kids because I work in a store that sells like toys, games, books, activities.
My God, you're living the dream.
So it's just like, and I just absolutely loved this. So of course, there's more events throughout the year, and by the time I volunteered at the second one, I realized they do like 50 odd events throughout the country. And then this year, 2024, they're doing even more events. I think they got about 60 or 70. So I volunteered for 3 so far. So I've got one coming up in Newport the end of the month. There's another one in Swansea, which is very local to me. Basically, the 3 of them are in Wales. And they normally only have 1 in Wales, so this year they're having 3 in Wales. So that's how much they've upgraded. So
wow, Lego is
as a volunteer, do you at least get like a Lego poly bag or something, or like a shirt or anything as a thank you?
You get a shirt, you get a T-shirt, you get a lanyard. You get like lunch and stuff. They do actually give you £50, which covers like travel and expenses. So I wouldn't say it was being paid, but I've done it without. So
there's a DM or something. Oh, that's
and
nice.
they give you like a
that's fun.
So these are only for for people working or volunteers, you don't get
Right.
these. You can't, buy these at the events. I know that some of the ones in America they give these out for just
Yeah.
attending.
And it has the
that's pretty good.
city of whatever
Yeah, Cardiff.
Brickfest that
Yeah.
location would be at. That's cool.
hmm And then the other thing is, as well, as we give out the stamps, for the Lego passport.
Mhm.
So we do one of those for each of the events, so you can actually get like 50 or 60 stamps in your book if you go to all the events around the UK.
Is
which
your stamp book overflowing?
He's stamped.
Yeah, my problem is
Dazzled.
I've moved so many times in my life. I have no idea where my passport is, so I've never had mine stamped apart from one store. Even though I've probably been to about 50 Lego stores at this point, and obviously a couple of events, but no, I don't even know where my passport is. I need to.
What's the best Lego store that you've been to since you've been to over 50?
Is he allowed to say the best or just the top?
Like
3?
most impressive. And we can tell you ours.
I'd say probably maybe the one in New York.
I was gonna say that.
Us too.
With the dragon that went throughout the whole store.
Yes.
Yeah, that was probably
that's the Rockefeller one.
Mm-hmm.
The Rockefeller.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they even had like a minifigure scale Rockefeller, I guess, mocker or whatever, where they had like all the little people in there, and it was just like that big circle, where you see down at the bottom of Rockefeller.
To be honest with you, I just remember being blown away by the store, even though I've been to the one in London. Plenty of
saw the one in
Laser.
London, wasn't that
the
one a
in
good
Laser.
one?
They had the Gringotts Bank there. And they also had, what did they have? That was
they had the Notre Dame, didn't they?
No, that was in Paris.
That was in Paris.
Yeah, the Big Ben. They got the Big Ben there as well, right?
Yes, they have the Big Ben. That's right. I also like the one in Disney Springs, and maybe that's like something that I always had gone to since I was little myself. And they've always had like the dragon, the water serpent in the ocean. And then they have like, of course, like all the life size Disney characters, like Maleficent,
Chewbacca's
the dragon.
bum.
Yes, exactly, Star Wars. So that's also a good one.
So yeah, I've been to both the ones in Disney in the US as well.
Well, you have, okay, nice.
A long time ago. I went to the one in Florida and the one in Los Angeles so many years ago. I've got pictures of me in there, which is before I sort of got back into Lego as such.
So as you segue to that, exactly how did you get into Lego? Something you played with as a kid and had your dark ages. I think we have to start delving into that.
So it's weird for me because most of the people in this Star Wars sub community that I kind of, I guess, connected to more than anything else is everybody talks about having a dark age, but I didn't actually have a dark age with Lego Star Wars as such because it wasn't around when I was a child. There was no such thing as Lego Star Wars. So I grew up with Lego. I've got Lego sets and even the instructions for sets that were around before I was born. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I've got some that are dated like 1978, 1970.
Oh, wow.
Those kind of ages, even though they were still before my age, because I was born 1980. So I've got...
It's only 2 years.
Yeah.
It's only 2 years.
Only 2 years from what?
We're from 1978, because you said you were born 1980.
Yeah, I assume they must have been my brothers, because he's a couple of years older than me. So my parents don't even remember where they came from, but we've got these sets.
You have them, yeah. I like it.
I don't know where they came from, but yeah, so it's like, I had Lego as a kid. I think I probably grew out of it in terms of like, because I used to buy with my pocket money, buy little sets, save up for bigger sets. But I'd say probably early teens. At that point, sort of pirate, space, castle was kind of the main sort of themes that I would probably be purchasing. And then, early teens kind of fell out of love with it, if you like. But we always kept that Lego. My parents would never let us get rid of it, which I'm glad of because I've still got it now. Every Lego piece that I've ever owned, I still own. But when Star Wars launched the kind of prequels in sort of late 90s, and like early 99, I was really into Star Wars collecting on a different scale. So I was going to Lego conventions as early as like 1995, 1996.
Like Star Wars conventions.
Sorry, Star Wars conventions, not Lego conventions. That's how into Star Wars I was at that point. And this was at the point where, like, I went to meet Jeremy Bulloch, who was Boba Fett, and I've met Kenny Baker, who was inside R2D2.
Yes.
And I all of those people I met, and I paid like £5 to have a picture and an autograph, whereas now you're talking
Yeah, $200. Toronto Comic Con is here right now this weekend.
Is
so
it really?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Are there
It's just-
any Star Wars?
I don't know about Star Wars, but it's like a lot of shows like The Boys and
Mm.
It's just crazy the prices they charge now in
It
comparison to
is.
then. And you
It
had just
is.
real interactions as well back then. But
right.
I remember, sort of going to these things and collecting figures and all sorts of other things. And I remember seeing the Lego sets on shelves in Toys R Us when I was there buying like other things. I think Power of the Force line or whatever it was at the time. And seeing these sets for the new movie. I can't remember whether the movie was actually out at this point or not, but I remember looking and thinking, oh, one of these sets, Lego sets, is £5. I might as well grab one of these just for the sake of it. And I bought the small, the small, what do you call it? The Vulture Droid, the brown. It was like brown and cream out of the first 13 sets. And I don't know what happened to it over the years. I'd forgotten about it. And it was only when I'd started to drift back into Lego a little bit. My daughter bought me sort of for Father's Day. I guess she didn't buy it. My fiance bought it for me, but she bought like me a set just as a Father's Day gift, and it was like a little sort of battle pack, Jawas battle pack, I think it was. And I was like, oh, this is cute. No, this is something. Like, she at the time I was into like building and making things. So I thought, oh, Lego. I haven't had a Lego since I was a kid. This is fun. So I thought, oh, actually, I really enjoyed that. And then I think I had another set for Christmas, and then another set for my birthday. And it was just like, and then started getting back into it. And of course, then The Force Awakens was on the horizon at that point. That's when I started getting back into it, and I just kind of sacked off all my other. And then we moved house. And I finally got to unpack, because at this point I've moved house like 13 times, right?
Wow.
So I started unpacking some of my old Star Wars stuff that had been in boxes. Some of it had been in boxes since when I first put it in boxes, when I first moved away from my parents' house back in the 90s. So at this point, it was like 20 years. Some of this stuff had been in storage, and because I'd moved around so much for work, I never got to unpack these things. So I started unpacking it, and I'm thinking, oh, I came across this old Lego set, and I'm thinking, still feels,
yeah.
and I don't know, it just got me back into it, and I just sort of got the buzz again, started getting involved in Facebook communities, watching YouTube, and it just kind of rolled on from there. But the first sort of sets I was kind of buying were kind of the Solo wave, the Rogue One wave, Force Awakens waves. And then obviously I heard about this May the 4th event, and I was like, what's this May the 4th? Went along to the Lego store on the day and was just like, what is this? This is like,
what was the UCS set for that May the 4th?
I have no clue. I have no clue. I can't remember because I don't collect UCS as it happens. So I'm not a UCS guy, but it was, I don't know, just kind of got really embroiled into it. And at that point I was quite active in a Facebook group called NoMoreBricks. And I really active with them, seeing mocks, and got to learn about the mock world and Rebrickable and Bricklink and all this stuff. Was just like, wow, what is this world that I've entered? And then of course the social media side of it, or this kind of streaming and YouTube and Instagram came a lot later. This was kind of 4 or 5 years again down the line. So and here we are. So I think, I've only kind of been on YouTube doing my own sort of show for about 6 months, but probably only been like on Instagram and active on YouTube for about a year in terms of like commenting on other people's chats and that kind of thing. But prior to that, I was just kind of a watcher for a long time, watching things, absorbing things, and mostly Star Wars Lego, but Lego in general as well.
Yeah.
So when you're on Bantha Bricks for Facebook, did you try doing the mock, like your own Star Wars mocks as well?
Yeah. So basically, what they used to do every year is they used to hold a mock competition where they'd give you a remit and an idea. And I really got into it, and I built this kind of thing. I created a whole universe around these two characters who were working on what's called a thresher, which is like a combine harvester, effectively, in the Star Wars world. And it's like and they turned it into like a battle tank, which I called the ARM-D1LL0. So when you see it written out, it says armadillo, but the tank that I built actually looked like an armadillo, and it was just like this battle tank type thing with all these guns and stuff on. It didn't end up winning, but it was just the first time that I'd had a go at like building something for myself and getting involved in, everything that came with that. And they used to do like charity competitions every year where people would donate sets from these bigger companies that they were kind of connected with, and you sort of give donations, and for every dollar you donated or whatever it was, you'd get an entry into this thing. And I won competitions on there multiple times, and I won custom sets and custom figures, and got so like involved in the community that I was one of them. So I know there was, at the point I was in, there was like 30,000 people in this Facebook group, so it was quite a big Facebook group. But I was very close with the people who were running it, and made friends there. But it just, I don't know, without it sounding awful to the people there, because it's a fantastic group, and I'm not active in there anymore because I don't really use Facebook, but it just wasn't quite enough for me, because it wasn't. So I'm a sociable person. I like to talk to people. Part of my job is talking, interacting with people face to face, and to me, it was just missing something, because everything is kind of typed. There wasn't any real. If sometimes people would film a video or a live, but there was no kind of. I mean, even this isn't face to face interaction, but it's closest you're going to get without physically meeting people. But I felt like I was missing out. It was all very one sided. You just kind of reading or watching other people's. And then when I started watching YouTube, it was a bit better, because you could see these people doing these different things live as opposed to written down and photos. But it was still like, you put in a comment in the chat, you might not see, it might not get answered. There was no engagement. So I was watching things like NoMoreBricks and M&R, and I was like, right, these guys focus on Star Wars. But again, it was like, you're just in a chat. You're not.
You're mainly a viewer, and then you can put
you're just a viewer.
But there's
And obviously they weren't always doing live streams at that point. I hadn't really discovered the live stream thing. It was just watching videos back that they might have recorded weeks or months ago. And then I started discovering these live streamers, these people who were actually talking and interacting with chat. And I think the people I connected with first was ACOB, because they were Star Wars orientated. But they were like, you put a comment in the chat and they would just read it, and they'd like shout you out. And I just thought, wow, this is amazing. This is it. Like, this is a connection. But it still just didn't quite feel right. There was something missing. And then I just thought, well, maybe I'm going to try to do something like this myself and see if I can bounce off other people, like in this scenario, like we have now, where with hosts or guests. And then that's where the idea for the show came from, basically. And we just...
You want to get into that now? I was going to touch on it later, but actually before getting into the show, I wanted to kind of touch into back when we were talking about Lego conventions. And you did kind of mention that you and your daughter went to like the Brick Fest, which sounds like an expo, but what you're talking about now with the one-on-one conversations, and we were kind of asking about the AFOL part of the AFOL days of the conventions. Have you been to something like that? Like when we went to Brick World Chicago, when we do the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday without the public, you get a lot of one-on-one interactions with all these YouTubers or Instagrammers that you see online, and then you actually talk to them one-on-one, and it's just like conversations, and it's not online. No one else can see it, and you're just getting personal. Have you experienced that part of the Lego?
No, not exactly. I mean, when I was volunteering at the first show, the first Brick Fest, which is like a year after attending one, so I've literally attended one as a guest at the moment, and I've volunteered at 2. And then within the next couple of months, I will have volunteered at sort of 5. So I've only ever really been to one as like a visitor, and it is just literally a one-day event. But when I was at this event, I spotted a guy who was coming in with a mock to display, who I recognized. And he came straight to me and he was like, yeah, you're Cool and Luke. And I was like, yeah, you're Joel, right? And he's like, yeah. So he was in a comment in the chat, Joel's Bricks.
Joel's Bricks. Okay.
Yeah. So
that's cool.
And then later on, I was working, so I was with the staff doing some event or something, and he came up to me with like a white brick and a Sharpie, and he was like, "Can you sign this for me?" And I was like, "Oh, wow!" And it was just like this kind of feeling, like, "Oh, I've made it. I'm famous." But like, no. So, I mean, obviously, if I'd been in a different situation, I would have done the same, because he's a YouTube guy who I'd kind of followed and connected with through Oaktown Bricks. So because he'd been a guest on Oaktown show, so I knew him from there. And of course, he's a fellow Welshman as well. So we've kind of connected since. He's been a guest on our show and has popped on a couple of different things. So that connection has been made, and I've met him in person. I've met Martin, who's one of the co-hosts at the convention, that same convention as well. He came down. But other than that, I haven't really met anybody else face to face. But
it is an interesting experience,
World.
right? Like actually meeting someone face to face after, like,
Yeah.
say, like we're talking right now, and then we meet at, say, if we go to Bricktastic, or if you come to Chicago or something like that, meeting in person,
It's
like,
a whole different.
like you're gonna be like, whoa,
Yeah.
you guys are kind of short.
I know. I was
And
gonna
we'll
say
be
that
like,
too.
Yeah. Well, you go to Brickworld this year, right?
We are,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, there you go. I'll see you there then.
Oh, you're gonna go to Brickworld, all right.
Yeah, the whole Cool Hang Luke, all 7 of us from the Cool Hang
Oh,
Luke
awesome.
hosts are coming across.
Oh, that's
it's
gonna be awesome.
Myself, Witticky, and Slurpee, with the original 3 hosts.
Let's talk
And
about
then-
that. Your show.
And then we've got Padawan, Ostiff, Mole's Vengeance, and Oaktown Bricks, who are kind of stand-in hosts for the show.
Yeah,
nice.
And all of it. And we're actually hoping to do an episode of the show live from the event as well.
Awesome.
Oh, that's cool.
Awesome. Okay, so what is the show called for those of us who don't know?
It's called Cool Hang,
Hang.
Luke.
Hang.
So just change the hand to a hang.
Yes,
And yeah, we go every Sunday, 7 p.m. UK time, which is normally before daylight savings,
yes.
2 p.m.
2 p.m. here.
on Eastern Standard Time, and yeah, it's usually runs anywhere between 3 and 4 hours. It's quite a long show,
Wow,
or
yeah.
can be quite a long show,
Yeah.
and it's a kind of, I think Star Wars is where our roots are, but we do explore other sets, other themes, and other things within Star Wars, and we even do like Lord of the Rings. We do collecting. We do all sorts of different stuff. It's quite a topical show, at least I think it's topical. And we're trying to, I'd say we're at the point now where we're trying to find our USP, what's unique about us. And we're kind of finding that with just adding in, like, so for example, Slurpee, one of the co-hosts, the Irish one, is a stop motion guy. He makes stop motion. So we've created this kind of little monthly segment called The Demise of Blockhead, which is a little Lego character, and he makes stop motion videos to show this character being, being unalived in some way or form.
What adventures he's up to and stuff.
Yeah, that kind of thing, and just for fun. And then we've started to make like little videos. We've only done one, which we're going to be airing on Sunday, which is a kind of almost like a shout out video that I've made. Only like a funny, stupid little funny segment. So you'll have to watch on Sunday to see that, because it hasn't been released yet. Only one other person's seen it, but it's just as out of respect for one of our followers who's been watching from day one. So that's going to be hopefully a little surprise for him, and just creating this kind of, I don't know. It's almost like, I think for me, when watching these streams, I get really like, I enjoy watching them as much as I do enjoy hosting them or being a guest on them. But sometimes you can just, it can be kind of, you can watch and just see like heads talking. And it can, for some people, it can, particularly for me, when I'm watching, I'm like, I kind of get bored of seeing heads. I want to see something. And like what you guys do, where you break up your segments with these like kind of sketch videos. And then you'll like show things up on the screen when you do show and tell. So they kind of just breaks up the monotony of just heads talking. And that's something we've been trying to do in a slightly different way to you guys. But just adding like, so another version is that every month, Martin, who's one of the other co-hosts, does what we call the monthly box of boys. So he'll do instant tips, and he'll have his box of boys with different characters in. So it might be a box of Luke, it might be a box of Leia's, whatever. And it's just something silly and fun, and we do little things like that, and just to try and make it a little bit, different, exciting. We haven't got a massive following, but what we do seem to have, and other people who've been on the show have said this, is that you do seem to have like that our chat is really like alive. We have
popping.
Absolutely popping. Is everybody's talking to each other, shouting each other out, and there seems to be a diehard group of people. I'd say there's probably about 20 to 30 people who will watch almost every episode.
It's awesome.
One thing I've started to look into recently, which I'm not big. It's analytics. I'm not really big into that kind of thing, but looking at the analytics, almost every person who watches the show watches it in full, which is quite an achievement in itself.
Yeah,
because most people tune in and out of things, but it's like the viewing hours match the you know,
Yeah.
they're kind of through the roof really for such a small, relatively new show. So,
Yeah.
so I've been really impressed with that. And just a shout out, I guess, to any of those guys following. I can see a few of them in the
Yeah.
chat now.
Yeah.
Who
Have
tune
you
in
put
every
your
week.
show? Have you put your show on like Spotify or Apple
No,
Podcast?
I've never really considered doing that because, I mean, I don't think there's any reason not to. I was talking to Austin about it because he's put his
Mm-hmm.
It helps with like just listening in the car. That's what I.
yeah, the
That's
brick
what I
connection.
find.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
so I've spoken to him about it, and he said like is it in his show he doesn't really focus on visuals as much as he does the chat. So I listen to Shy Time Is My Time
Yes.
on podcasts sometimes, and that is, you know, you can hear them talking. They never, whereas I think from just watching our shows back, and I've tried to watch our shows back to try and get myself feedback or to, you know, try and clip out some bits and pieces potentially, and I've just sometimes you kind of I don't feel like you can enjoy it as much unless you can watch it because of the things that, like, so everything
Are
we've talked
happening.
about, me and you guys have talked about up till now would be fine to listen to.
Mhm.
There's certain parts, especially when it comes to like show and tell, that people will be like,
What is that? Yeah.
what's going on there? I can't
Yeah,
see that, you know?
For sure.
Like
So-
for our show and tell, like I try to
Be
be
descriptive.
descriptive whenever like say Harold like shows something. I'm like, oh, it's a because he'll be like,
Yeah.
hey, this is what I have, and he's not saying what it is. So I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, look, it's a. And I try to make it verbal too, just because
Yes,
I know
to
that
describe it.
we have ours also on the podcast,
Yeah.
so you can listen to it, and it works too because I listen to the podcast afterwards
Right.
just to see if it does work, and it works even with show and tell, even with like showing things, just because of the verbal part.
Yeah.
It's still entertaining to listen to. That's why, like, even for ACOP, like I always ask him, are you guys gonna put it on podcast? Because even with their thing, I'll have it playing in my pocket in the gym, and it's a visual show as well, but it still works because
They're descriptive
I just
enough.
like their voices, how they talk.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that
I'll
can
have
help
to
with
consider
you
that.
guys too.
I'll have
It's
to
not hard
think
to
about
do.
it.
Like after the show, I just press download audio only, and then it just downloads it in like, I don't know, 5 minutes, and then afterwards I just upload it to Spotify.
Yeah.
And
Right, I
Spotify
see.
automatically puts it into Apple or Spotify. Like it puts it to both. Like there's an
Okay.
option.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
he
definitely worth
listens to a
considering.
lot of podcasts, and I mean, when we go for long drives, you're right. We like listen to Shy Time Is My Time, and you get recount of conversations and stuff. And I don't know, like I feel like we're born around the same time. Are we like that last generation though who appreciates this kind of like engagement and like interaction, right?
You're 1980,
Yeah.
we're 78
Right.
babies.
So we're still maybe that generation who's like, oh, I want to reach out. And I'm always telling my kids, and we have like, you know, a guy who's 20, 15, and 10, like reach out, be part of community. And they're all like in their rooms and on their devices with their friends. And I'm like, no, there's still a huge difference when you're, you know, within and among friends, among community, and among that interaction. I think it's still so valuable. But I almost wonder if we are that last bit of generation unless we continually push it, right? So
yeah, I think you're right. I think it like I try to speak like my staff all the time because most of the majority of them are young. Well, I say that there's a nice mixture of some of the older and some of the younger than me, but you can just tell the difference between those who are kind of, you know, tech engaged as opposed to people engaged, you know. And I think you're right. I think there's almost a dying breed, but I struggle really I really struggle if I can't, like, so as it happens, I was ill last year during Christmas, and I ended up being hospitalized with sepsis. It was quite serious, like, and I was recovering for a while, and it was just probably the hardest time. And that was when I first started getting into like the whole social media side of like Lego community, with particularly Instagram, because it was nothing else to do, like, you know, and I was kind of sat at home. And when you're so used to talking to people, engaging with people, you kind of miss that. This year, as it happens, I was actually off again ill over the Christmas period. This time it was because I'd had a planned operation. So I went in for a hernia operation a couple of weeks before Christmas, and obviously it didn't go particularly well. The operation went fine, but I had some complications. And I ended up being off work for about 6 weeks over Christmas, which was fine. But at the same time, it was like when you're used to being like this, in, you know, chatting to customers, having a laugh with customers,
especially around Christmas, right? It's like the most festive time of the year for engagement, for sure.
Engagement and just kind of just being around people, like, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to say I'm a social animal. I do like my
Yeah.
privacy and stuff as well, but
Yeah.
it just I could never have a job where I was kind of working behind a computer
Same.
or working from home. And so this time I was like, right, I'm going to do something a bit more constructive, and I really dived into this live streaming kind of thing, although we
Mhm.
already had the show going. So we did started doing regular shows. I kind of hooked up with people like Brick Hive and did like random
Yeah.
sort of just kind of chat shows, which we kind of did. We did the 72-hour, we did the 48-hour charity
Yeah.
stream, which obviously you
Yeah.
guys got involved with, and I appreciate everything you guys did.
How did we do? Did we meet our goal?
Yeah, we were halfway through the target, about half at the halfway mark of the 48 hours, which is obviously 24 hours. We were halfway through the target, and I was like, "This is fantastic." But by the time we got to the end, we'd gone straight over the target.
Nice.
I made a pledge that I was going to walk on some Lego if we could get to, I think it was £600
You are
at
a
the end of the show.
dedicated person right there.
And I ended up doing that on one of our shows. You'll have to tune
Oh,
into that to
stream.
see that. But
Yes.
I kept it open for a full week because there was another
Afterwards.
show, Brick Dynasty, who were doing a giveaway as part of the show, and theirs was
Okay.
on the Wednesday following.
Okay.
So because they weren't able to do a show during the 48 hours,
Right.
unfortunately, but they did do this giveaway, and I thought, well, I may as well keep it open for a full week, and we'll close it with the Cool Hang Luke show the following week.
Mhm.
By the time we'd got to that point, we'd surpassed. We'd got, I think just before the show, we were just shy of $1,000, which became the new target.
Mhm.
And then we hit the target by the end of the
Nice.
show. So yeah, $1,000 didn't quite hit £1,000, but I think $1,000. We're talking about
Yeah.
Pretty hefty too.
$1,000 Death Star was the big thing
Awesome.
at
Yeah,
that point. So
yeah.
I just thought, right, there you go. So, but yeah, that was in aid of the California Fire Foundation. Like I said,
Yeah.
appreciate the donation from you guys as well as everybody else out there who donated, and obviously you guys pitching in with your show. But yeah, it was fantastic, and something like that I would never have been able to do if I wasn't already off.
No. And this is it, right? Like in the Lego community, like in terms of that interaction, in terms of what we can move in this manner, like it's pretty awesome, right? Like I like the
holds
means,
weight, absolutely.
right?
And it's funny actually because that's where the idea came from. Because Ostif was doing a 24-hour stream where he actually stayed up for 24 hours, and I remember saying to him during that, I was like, we should do this, but we should do it. He was doing it for a charity. I said, we should do this, do it longer, but we should do it because when I found out about what was going on with these California fires, we'd already been talking about doing something for charity and we hadn't thought why. But then this happened and it was almost like, right, this seems like it's meant to be. I'm off work. I can plan it. I can organize it. He was in a similar boat. So we're just like, between the two of us, we hatched this plan, got lots of people involved. And it was just like, and I remember saying to him, I said, we've got a community here. We've got all the tools we need to be able to raise money and come together. Why don't we all we got to do is just, get everybody together.
Collaborate.
So we got one of the most powerful communities that I'm certainly aware of out there. So let's you put it to good use, so.
No, for sure. No, that was great.
Mm-hmm. Getting back into Brick World Chicago, what are you most looking forward to?
All of this, everything you guys have been talking about, the interactions. I'm not even that bothered about the Lego. Clearly, coming from over the pond, I can't take a lot back with me. And we were fortunate enough.
You're not going to pack an extra suitcase?
Nah, we were fortunate enough to get really good deals on flights. But unfortunately, with these flights, they start charging you for all these extras, particularly when you're coming from the UK. So to take a larger size suitcase, which would be like hold baggage, it was like, I think they wanted like 120 extra pounds.
Oh, wow, that is a lot.
So we got carry on only, but you can take two. So you can take like a little backpack with your bits and pieces, and then you can take a small suitcase. I said that's plenty for us.
That's how I traveled, and I thought it was plenty too. Only when I got there, it's like, oh, souvenirs, and I tried to keep all the souvenirs tiny, and I was very tempted to get a larger luggage, but I held my ground. Actually, no, I lie. My good friend who lives in London, he's coming back here in April. So I actually gave him a bag of stuff to like, hey, if you're coming over, can you bring this for me? He's like my mule, my souvenir mule. So thank you.
Were you lucky enough to get a room at the Renaissance, the Rennie?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, you beat us.
I tuned in live for the sort of the live drop, if you like, during the ACOB show. And I booked it then and there. At that point,
Oh,
it was
okay.
just me and Whittaky sharing a room, but since then we managed to talk Slurpee in. So the three of us,
Oh,
the three
awesome.
original
Okay.
co-hosts, got a room
Yeah,
together. So
Yeah.
I thought
And
you were
yeah,
gonna say you're one of the many who are gonna bunk with Ostif
Yeah, he was saying
because we
that.
no,
we had Pocket
I-
Monster or Pocket Runner or Pocket Master
Pockets
Builder
Master.
on,
Yeah.
and he was
Tyler,
like, "Yeah,
yeah.
we're all rooming with Ostif. We're gonna have like 50 guys in that room, all dudes."
It just seems to be inviting more and more people. So I just, but
Yeah.
I'm a bit of an older soul. I like my own kind of space,
privacy.
my own
Yeah,
bed,
yeah,
and
Right.
when I've said to the boys, and they've all agreed, even though Slurpee, he's a lot younger than us. He's kind of late 20s.
Mm.
He's similar to us. He likes his own kind of space, and I've said, look, we can have the room. Whatever goes in the room is just we're there to relax and to unwind and go to sleep.
Exactly.
None of this messing about in the room, carnage.
Yeah.
And as it
No pillow
happens,
fights.
yeah, none of that stuff. But I mean, the three of us are not like, well, I don't drink anymore. I gave up drinking last year when I went through the whole hospital
Surgery,
situation
yeah.
because I suffered a little bit after it from like a PTSD from medical malpractice, essentially.
Oh,
I
God.
wasn't treated particularly well by the hospitals or the NHS, should I
Oh.
say. Won't go into that, but I ended up suffering from some PTSD. So I just thought the last thing I need to do to add fuel to that fire is to be inebriated. So I stopped drinking. I've given her up, and I've obviously, I don't know whether I necessarily say it's for health benefits, but it has improved that as well. And it just so happens that both Slurpee and Whittaky I'm sharing a room with, they don't really drink, or they're not heavy drinkers at all. So I was just like, right, that's going to be our home away from home while we're there. So
Well, we missed the boat on booking the Rennie because when we heard that it was open, we were in another convention. We went to the Salt Lake City
Brick Slopes,
and
right.
that was in the end of August, right? And we're like, oh, we have lots of time to do that.
And
then
the
it was sold out in like 24 hours. We're like, what?
All you early birds.
Early birds.
Yeah.
The early birds.
I was there like that.
Yeah.
Looking at during the live show. But but I'm looking forward to
very cool.
The interactions, the meeting, the going out for dinners, the lobby.
Have you been to Chicago before? Because it sounds like you've been to many other cities.
Yeah, I've been to a few states, never Chicago, but I think
you haven't had the deep dish pizza.
The deep dish pizza.
Yeah, the Chicago town style pizza. Yeah, my fiance is very upset that she's missing out on it because I've been to more states than she have because obviously before we met I'd been spent a bit of time in the US. So she's annoyed that I'm getting to sort of tick off another state without her and a city within that state that obviously we want to visit. So she's a little bit disappointed about that. But I did say to her, look, I'm probably not going to be doing much sightseeing, almost none, because we're arriving on the Tuesday afternoon, and obviously the convention effectively starts from the Wednesday, and we're leaving Sunday night. So it's not as if I'm going to be going to catch a ball game or do anything like that necessarily. But so that's not
will we?
Well,
things that can happen in Chicago.
Well, this is the thing. So I don't know, to be honest with you, but like I said, I think I'm more excited about that than the actual convention itself.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I know I will enjoy that as well, but it's just I'm more.
We actually avoid the public days, which is the Saturday, Sunday. Like it becomes quite.
It's like shoulder to shoulder.
It's so packed.
It's not. It might not be as welcoming as what
you're used to,
like that one day expo.
Yeah,
just because there's so many people and it's even hard to see the mocks.
And this place is massive, so enjoy the mocks when you're there Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and that interaction with those builders and
going to the vendors.
But and get the vendors. If there's anything you need to buy it the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday because
it's going to be sold. It'll be sold out.
But the lineup even to come into the hotel by the public, it's like around the building.
Yeah,
it's
the convention. You mean
the convention? Yes.
Yeah. Well, I think apart from maybe getting some little bits and pieces, these Lego bricks and like those kind of
minifigures and stuff.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. Small things that you can pick up. Apart from that, there are a couple of smaller sets that I don't mind buying secondhand or used or whatever that I will potentially try and pick up. But outside of that, it's I'm not really there to sort of spend money as such. And the other thing is that it's worth noting, in case you guys didn't know, that I'm actually there sort of celebrating my I keep forgetting what you guys call it. Call it a stag here. Over there, you guys call it
your bachelor party.
Bachelor. So effectively, everybody.
We call it stag here too in Canada.
Yeah, they call it the stag.
There you go.
Yes.
So you're all invited to my stag party, aka my bachelor party
What's
because
the
the
theme
only way
colors?
I haven't thought that much into it. But the only way I could sort of write off the idea of going and spending that much money when we plan to get married, because we were supposed to be getting married in August this year, but due to sort of some issues within the family, one of our family members unfortunately isn't particularly well and is going through treatment at the moment, so they're not going to be. I don't want to say too much about it, but they're not going to be able to. They're not going to be very well potentially for the next year or so.
Right.
So we thought, right, we'll postpone the wedding. So we're going to hopefully get married next August instead.
Okay.
But at this point, I'd already booked
your stag party.
With the idea of it being, because I not really into that kind of thing. So I thought rather than go and spend money, go into somewhere in Europe or somewhere in the UK for a weekend, I'd rather just go to Brick World. So a couple of family and friends have been like, well, what are we doing for the stag? And I'm like, I already know, I'm going to Chicago. And they're like,
to Chicago, yeah.
So,
all inclusive? No.
Is Cool Han Leia coming? I didn't catch it.
Is Cool Han who, sorry?
Cool Han Leia.
That's why she's angry that he's going to more states than she is.
Okay.
Now. Yeah.
I just named your significant other Cool Han Leia.
Cool Han Leia.
Ah, no, it's Kirsty, my significant other, Kirsty. So shout out to Kirsty. She's asleep right now. So
yes.
I need to work on my tone a little bit. Just, but yeah,
she's not coming.
No.
Does she like Lego at all?
She's a big Lego fan. More so since since we've been together. I don't think she ever was really into it as a kid. She didn't have any kind of childhood memories of Lego like I did. But
what's her thing?
Yeah, so she's probably aims more towards Disney and botanicals.
Okay.
So actually, this C-3PO and R2-D2 are both hers.
Oh,
so,
okay.
They both belong to her. I've just inherited them onto my display.
Oh, here you go.
So she's got quite a few of the botanicals.
Oh, nice.
We got our national flower.
Oh, those are
the Welsh national. Daffodil is a Welsh national flower.
Those are the first flowers that's blooming right now in my garden.
Yeah. So I've gotten her into it, I think, but she's got like some of the larger sets, she got like the Hocus Pocus house, and she's
that's
got
a good one.
Yeah. Do you know, off the top of my head, I can't really think, but she's got sort of the Friends apartments, both of those.
Okay. You guys then tend to gift each other these sets for anniversaries or birthdays then? So it's easy, right?
I don't even know. If I'm honest, I don't think she's ever bought herself a Lego set. I think all the sets she's got, I've bought her, but she does collect she was collecting the CMFs for a long time, particularly like the non-series CMFs. So like the Disney, the Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
Will she be getting the Beauty and the Beast castle?
Yeah, I heard you guys talking about it with T-Mog, and I was like, yeah, it just doesn't look right. And after you were saying about the colors being not right, I was like, do you know what? Yeah, you're right. I don't remember the castle being that color.
I did research it again, and like I'm here watching the opening scenes of Beauty and the Beast, like when they're just part of the lore, like in the beginning where they actually start to pan into the castle, and it is lavender at that point. Like it has a dusky,
that's the only part.
A dusky lavender to it. But I feel like when it transforms in the end and the spell is lifted and all the sparkles flow, I think it becomes white.
Maybe they're gonna make two sets.
But I think in the beginning, that's what that cast is. That's hue.
I think
I think it's pink purple, right? But it just doesn't look right. That's when I first saw it, I'm like,
Yeah, and I think Hive was telling me not telling me, he was telling his crowd, I guess, the Brick Hive. Yeah, he was saying that like the Beast doesn't look right because the Beast is happy, and you only ever know Beast generally as being angry.
Yeah,
that's funny.
So that was a bit kind of weird, but yeah, you're right. I think with the coloring though, I think if they'd just done it white, it wouldn't have stood out as much. Maybe.
Yes. And I think it was such a brief span again in the beginning that you don't really notice it. And again, like it's overcast, right? Like they're trying to create quite a gothic mood to the I guess opening scene. And then of course, whenever she entered it in the beginning, it was always dark, like it was nighttime, and she was looking for her dad. So you don't really see the external brick color. But yeah, when I first saw it, I'm like, I'm not sure this is canon. I don't know.
Before going on to our next segment, I wanted to ask for what is your softie for 2024 set of the year?
Yeah, Softy. I found out about Softy last week.
Yeah.
You were asked, because that's a euphemism here for something completely different. So
Us
you
too.
guys, when you guys were asking T-Mark about the Softy, you could just see his kind of face, and he's just kind of like,
Oh yeah.
"My what?"
Everybody makes that face.
Let's hear a Softy.
And we're like, your
Well,
top 3.
But it's funny because I was watching it because I obviously had to do some research because I had to make sure that if you guys come out with these, things, I was prepared and I thought, right,
Appreciate
with
that.
with the Softy, I need to think about it because
Mhm.
I don't actually know off the top of my head. So I thought, right, I'm going to spend the next couple of days thinking about this, and I even put a hashtag in one of the things, hashtag Softy, because I was still thinking about it. And I'm just like, I honestly don't know. I honestly can't think.
But there were actually quite a lot of sets last year, and even for myself, like Nick and Harold, they know things off the bat of their head. But I feel like Lego just releases so many sets in a year that I have to do my in-depth research before we actually go to that show.
What was Star Wars Softy?
Yeah.
Well, this is the thing for me because I'm quite well known as I'm quite fussy even within my sort of subcategory. So I collect Lego Star Wars, but there's certain areas or sort of sub collections within that I don't bother with, mostly because of sort of space, cost. Like I would never spend 200, 300, 400 plus on a one Lego set when for that I can get 10 smaller ones. And of course, I haven't got the space to display a huge UCS set. And most of my Lego I build, display temporarily, take it apart. I've got so many Lego sets that are just sat over here and just in crates in bags that I might have built years ago, taken apart, obviously because of moving house. But I'm just like, I enjoy the building process and the collecting process and the taking apart process more than I do the displaying process, if that makes sense. But then also the other thing that I tend to do is I don't pay full price for a set. I very rarely go out and buy a set day
It's
one.
like a Rapture Raccoon.
Yes.
Yeah, so when I come to May the 4th now, or the May the 1st event now, I'll be buying most of the sets that came out last year, if they're in a deal, potentially, to try and reach that point. So I don't even know whether, and because of Brick World, I did say to my fiance, right, I'm going to tone down, apart from May, I'm going to tone down from buying myself so many sets. So, I mean, when you say set of the year, I assume you mean like 2024, right?
Yes.
2025 is right.
Yeah.
Very fresh.
Well, the one thing I will say is that most people, I love the what do you call it, diorama sets. I think they're fantastic.
Okay. Yes.
They're amazing. I also like the MIDI scale ships because they're more in fitting with my kind of display.
Yeah.
More less of a play set. It's more like, quite compact, but also like shows a scene. Doesn't have to be not minifigure heavy. I'm not a huge minifigures guy, so even if I do display sets that have minifigures, I won't usually put them in there on display. So I would say probably, and I might get panned for saying this, might be like a hot take, but I would probably say of all the sets that came out last year, the one I was most excited about because it meant something to me and I connected with, but also I think looks the best personally, is this.
Uh-oh. I bet you it's the Endor one. What do you think? Oh, it's not.
Oh,
I was right.
Yes.
Oh, no, not the Endor.
No.
That's the one I was thinking about.
That's the one. That's actually top of my 5 softies.
Yes.
That made my top 5
the
softies.
pod racers.
That's
It's
great.
I mean,
I love
the
dioramas.
rock work looks really good in this set. The rock work.
Yeah, it's just because I remember seeing the trailer for this, and I was still living at home at the time. I might have been sort of 18. And I moved out relatively early. So I moved out when I was like 19. But I remember sitting in my bedroom in my parents' house, watching the trailer for this and being absolutely blown away. Obviously, I'd grown up on Star Wars in the early 80s. Yes. I knew they were making Star Wars movies again. I'd never stopped being I've never had a dark age from being a Star Wars fan. Lego maybe, but not Star Wars. And I remember seeing the advert and seeing one of those clips of the pod race scene. I remember being like, those sounds of all those kind of stuff. I'm being like, right, I can't. This is because it reminded me as well. Because like if you're watching this scene, there's a lot of echoing type noises. It was like, and that reminded me of the chase scene in Endor where the speeder bikes are going through the trees, and that was I used to play that all the time as a kid.
Do you have that one? diorama.
tables and chairs and my dining table. So all the chairs and tables were there with the trees, and I was kind of skeptical. I used to love that. So I remember seeing this, and this connected with me. But no, I don't actually have the Endor one.
That's a good one too.
I never managed to grab it, but it is definitely on the list. So, but yeah, so
like
this, and when this came out, I was like, this is great. And loads of people saying, oh, it doesn't fit through. And I'm just like, it's supposed to be a diorama. It's not supposed
there's
to.
a perspective. You know what I mean?
What's
like,
great about these dioramas? They're all action shots. Like it looks like
they're not.
You're really
they're
flying
dynamic.
through.
It's not stagnant, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not
because they did the Death Store trench, Death Store
trench run.
that
It's also
trench
like
run.
an action shot.
And I love that one as well. I mean, the trash compactor set as well is another one. Even though that wasn't last year, but I just love. For me, they're really.
I personally
really
have
good
always
set.
loved these dioramas ever since they came. Like I just thought they were like just thoughtfully and cleverly
made. Are they continuing them in 2025?
I really hope so.
Because I haven't seen any spoiler shots.
No, you're right. I don't think there are any scheduled for 2025 that I can think of.
Like I only saw that the helmet
is coming.
The helmet is the only kind of one that they brought back, but I haven't seen any ships or any dioramas or anything like that.
So yeah, there are ships. There are MIDI scale ships planned. We got the Kylo Ren shuttle, and we've had 2 at the beginning of the year. We had the Mon Calamari cruiser and the I forgot what the other one was. Mon Calamari cruiser, and what was the other one came out? The Republic ship, Acclimator. So those 2
Brick
came out in
Dynasty
January.
says, I thought they moved on from dioramas to make room for the helmets again.
Yeah, I think it might be a bit of a up-down with them. I'm hoping they don't stop them. But I know that there's not many people out there who would necessarily agree.
Acclimator, the Acclimator.
Acclimator, that's right, yeah. So those 2 came out at the beginning of the year, and I think there's a Kylo Ren shuttle planned for later this year. But yeah,
May the 4th is around the corner. You're right.
Kylo Ren shuttle.
So do you guys go out, and this is a question I wanted to ask you guys. What does May? I know you're not necessarily you're not necessarily Star Wars fans as such, but
you haven't seen my Star Wars room?
You haven't seen his Star Wars.
Well, I know you guys, but from what I see, you guys pretty much buy every set from what I can see.
Okay, fine. So. Maybe it's hard to really discern.
It kind of started with besides the modulars, Star Wars was the first theme that I kind of got into.
I really love all the minifigures, and I was just so cutified with all of the Star Wars things.
I'll add that to my show and tell them.
And I would play the Star Wars video games a lot with our first son. I just thought they were so cute. I know that's probably not the word for Star Wars, but I did, and I was really into them.
But sorry, what was your question?
Because most people who I speak to in this kind of sub community, i.e. the Star Wars Lego community, are always like, it's a big thing. But sometimes I like to get an aspect from people who aren't just Star Wars focused. Do you guys basically celebrate? Do you go to the Lego store for May the 1st, May the 4th? And do you have, do you get the Star Wars sets? Do you get really into it, or?
Like the first few May the 4ths, I would go. I remember the very first May the 4th I went to, they had the B-Wing 50% off, the UCS B-Wing.
It's never happened again.
I picked that up, and then after that I kept going. And then they were also giving away the poly bags on May the 4th, like the exclusive. They stopped doing it because I remember what's that one that Hive always talks about? There was Darth Revan. Darth Revan was like one of the poly bags before, and then they were giving. I remember one was like Hoth Han was one too. And so that was something that you look forward to, going to May the 4th, getting the free poly bag that with exclusive figure, and then the big modular that was coming out that year too. I kind of stopped getting the modulars after space. So I like the last big modular I picked up was probably the gunship. It was either the gunship or the Razor Crest. I can't remember which. I think the gunship came after the Razor Crest, right?
Yeah. But I would say Star Wars was one of our really entries into the world of Lego, and then the Star Wars sets came out not too long after that. So I feel like that was our next.
We had a store here called Lasting Toys, which is kind of like Bricks and Minifigs, but they had retired Lego sets, selling it for MSRP, like the regular price.
It wasn't,
and so that's when I was able to get a lot of retired modulars at like a regular decent price, and even just regular scale ship, like the old Venator, I was able to get that at the regular price. And then there was like the 2009, the one with the battle scarred Darth Vader. Not Darth, was it Darth Vader? Battle scarred. It's like a black ship, and it has like 3 minifigures that are really cool. I'm not sure if it's from the Old Republic, but I can't remember the name of the ship. I could show it on my show and tell, but like that one was there as well. And so like a lot of older Star Wars sets were there. And this was back in like 2012. And so a lot of like the 2010, 2009 sets were available. So that's when I was kind of picking things up.
Would it have been the Darth Malgus with
I have the Darth Malgus. I do have the Darth Malgus, but it's not. I know the ship you're talking about, but it's a different one. It looks weird. It has like, it looks forward, then it has like something like coming out this way. I'll show it to you
soon.
I'll show it to you.
Yeah.
Show it to
I think for me, the pinnacle of Star Wars Lego is that event, and I've been disappointed by the Lego store because, particularly because they have when I first attended, it was May the 4th. And now it's sort of migrated into being May the 1st because they want to. And I think I've been in on the May the 4th for the May the 4th event, and they've got posters in the window saying May the 4th event. Come to our May the 4th event, May the 4th Star Wars, blah 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 blah. Ramming it down your throat, just looking at the glass while you're waiting. You go in the store, you pick up your sets to get. Actually, we've got none of the GWPs. We've sold out of all the GWPs. I said, I was like in the queue to come in. They were like, no, we'd sold out days ago. And I'm like, well, but today is May the 4th. You need to make if you want to do it early, that's fine. But by the time May the 4th has come around, which is the actual event that they're advertising, there's nothing left. And I've been really frustrated by that in the past. So they've let me down. But generally, for me, it's quite a big celebration anyway. So I've always, even before getting back into getting back into Lego, particularly Star Wars Lego, I've always had May the 4th. I've made sure I've got the day off, and I've sat and watched movies, and just embroiled myself in
Star Wars.
Like it's a second Christmas for me. It's a big celebration in the calendar year.
Yeah.
But go into the Lego store. I've been with my fiance, I've been with my daughter in the past. We've made like a day of it. This year, unfortunately, she's not able to get the time off work, so I'm going to be going in on myself. But I have told our channel that we're going to do I'm going to do like a live stream from going into the store and checking it out. And of course, it'll be spoilers for some people because we're like 5 hours ahead of most of the US. So it'll be like 9 o'clock for me in the morning and be early hours for them if they want to tune in. But thanks, Josh. Thanks for tuning in. But yeah, so I just think it's like it's just such a big thing for me. But again, it has kind of waned just in the sort of few years I've been going. I think 2019 was the first year I did it when they had the 25th anniversary sets.
Yeah.
I remember, the 20th anniversary sets. And I remember seeing that they had older sets, which at that point obviously didn't have because I'd only just started to get back in over the last few years, and they were all discounted with double VIP points or whatever it might have been. So you could buy and I thought this is great. But over the course of time, I think the last 2 or 3 years I've been, they don't have any discount. Even on the sets. And it's just like, and of course it went from being like 3. Sometimes I think there's always still been 3 GWPs, but they haven't been as exclusive. So the one year I went and it was like a set, a poster, and like a keychain. I can't even remember exactly what it was. And then now I think like last year's, for example, it was like a poly bag which you could buy from
it's nothing
the places. So it's just like, well, that's not really a freebie.
Hasn't been as exciting. You're right.
Yeah, the GWPs have kind of gone up and down. I've been quite pleased with some and not so much with others, but yeah, so I'd say it has lost a bit of its kind of tarnish, if you like, or it's tarnished a little bit over the years in terms of what it's about. But for me, it's still this event where you get to go to the store, and it's like within the Lego Star Wars community, it is still quite a big day. But I'm just hoping that they do start to it looks as if potentially, because I've heard rumblings of like 5x points again. I think they did that last year on some older sets. So although there's no discounts, if you're getting 5x points, that might actually pay itself.
Mhm.
I think was it last year? Yeah, last year I went in, and because I had 5x points and bought some older sets to make up
Mhm.
for the GWPs, I then had enough points to go back in and buy like one of the new sets, kind of thing. So,
Nice.
so yeah, so it's been like swings and roundabouts with May the 4th or May the 1st, if you like, for that event. But I don't know. I still every year that's almost my excuse, apart from Brick World, to just kind of blow a bunch of money and get away with it.
Hey, it's a good tradition. It's your again like your Christmas, right? You're a little bit like, when is my half of your Christmas?
It's always the longest lineup.
It
Of all the different
events
first of
and
the
campaigns.
months.
Yeah.
May the 1st is always the one that
Yeah.
wraps out
Yeah.
almost outside the store.
Well, this is what I was just about to ask you guys, because obviously for you, I've seen people like Lene, the Brick Babe, and people like Greg from London Bridge Bricks, and they kind of get involved and go to these events quite regularly. So when like the Tudor Corner came out and stuff like that, whereas for me, I don't really get involved in that sort of thing. So I'm actually quite, you know, I don't really know enough about what goes on in Lego as a whole. So I was just about to say, do you guys do that on these regular kind of things at the store?
I'm usually first in line.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I'll see, I don't know if you know Brick and Brood, but he's Canadian as well. And sometimes I'll see him
in
the line.
Yeah.
And then I'll forego my first in line and go like maybe like fifth in line so we could chat.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
I haven't done the shopping day in a while, but when my kids were little, we used to have the monthly Lego builds.
Yeah.
And I mean, that went from free, and then you had to like sign up for it, and then my kids phased out of it. But that was like
It's
maybe
still free though.
Yeah, it is still free, but but they needed to keep the numbers to a certain, I guess, amount, right? Because I guess they were running out of sets. But that used to be like my monthly sort of pilgrimage to the Lego store. Once upon a time, and then my kids have phased out of it. I feel like living in a Lego house, or like Lego.
They would come home with these built sets and like, here, Dad.
Yeah, here we did this for you. Happy Father's Day again.
Yeah, we used to attend the make and take events quite often when my daughter was smaller. And they used to do a lot of that kind of stuff even for Star Wars regularly, but not so much these days. But no, it's just I'm still kind of blown away by it, because for me, what is a yearly thing for other people is a kind of a regular thing, and it's so I suppose obviously I ain't got the money to be going and buying these huge sets on a regular basis. But the other thing I was going to ask you guys is that I noticed on I can't remember which episode it was, but it was a while back. I noticed that you're actually streaming from off a pool table.
Yes.
Yeah.
So is that an active? Is that an active pool table? Or?
We can still play with it.
Since I put up my Ninjago shelf over there, it's harder because it's more.
You have to like use the nipper, but this
we call it the nipper, but it's the shorter stick.
It's the shorter stick.
Right.
When Nick had a first job a long time ago when he was a teenager, and this was what he saved up for. Like I guess nowadays
this was the pool table in my house.
Maybe like, kids save up for like an iPhone if they even, but like this was what Nick wanted a long time ago.
And so, but now I use it to stream on,
to
build, to sort.
Yeah, when we have sorting moments here, this whole thing is like filled, and it looks like a whole city of Lego bricks and.
Yeah, well, I think that must have been what you guys were talking about, because I was thinking, I think I might have even put in the comments. I think I was thinking to myself, well, wouldn't you be worried that you lose like a Lego piece down one of the holes?
No,
there's a ball here. The hole is right here.
Oh, it doesn't actually go in and inside and everything.
Yeah. No, it's a pocket.
It's a pocket.
Like it doesn't.
Right.
It doesn't go into.
The pool tables here are mechanical, so they.
Oh yeah, it goes to the end, right?
Yeah, like the ones at bars. I guess those are the ones at bars.
These ones are just like leather pockets.
Yeah, they're just
right. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I want to say our room just got more full over pandemic, and I think part of that was there was less things to do out, right? And
before Lego, this used to be all DVDs behind me. Yeah. It was all like shelves, like the skinny shelves.
Yes.
From IKEA, and then all the DVDs are in there.
Yeah, that's definitely a generational thing, because I was just saying.
Yes.
And then we had like the bar thing with the
We've always been collectors to an extent.
I was going to say, would you love to be able to go back to when you were spending, like, I remember getting paid when I had my first management job, and I remember like my first pay going in and thinking, like my pay literally doubled overnight when I jumped up to manager, and I was
Yeah.
just like, I'd been working in retail for like 10 years at that point, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh my god, what am I supposed to do with all this money? And I remember going out. I mean, I wish I could go back now and buy Lego, but obviously at that point it was like, because talking like 15 years ago now. So I was like, what? So I remember going out and spending like hundreds of pounds in like HMV, which is like a record CD DVD player.
Yeah,
we have HMV too.
We have HMV.
And I remember spending hundreds on just DVDs.
Yes.
And now I think to myself, with the digital age, I'm just like,
I know.
They're all at the click of a finger. What have I spent all this money on? It's ridiculous.
I was just telling one of our kids that today, how our generation saw such a change in that technology, like from cassette to VCRs,
I still like the physical feel of a DVD with the cover of it and the whatever the artwork of the cover.
Like editions. Like we would get like the special edition kind of DVDs.
Well, even before that, Maria would collect the Disney VHS. The bigger VHSs with a spongy cover for the Disney movies.
Yes.
So
yes.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. Our entire like top part here was all Disney like things, and I think.
And now you just go to Disney Plus.
Yeah, it's all there, and my kids don't even want to watch it. I'm like, let's watch Dumbo. They're like, ugh.
I know,
it's crazy because we had crates and crates when we moved of DVDs, and eventually we started saying goodbye to them. But even now, we've still got like maybe 2 crates left, and we're like, I don't even know why we're holding on to them. We haven't even got a DVD player anymore, so it's like, what are we going to do with these? And it's just like, I think we're just struggling to say goodbye. Like I've got the Pacific and Band of Brothers steel case DVD sets.
That's cool.
You can watch them now, but I'm just like, I remember buying them. I remember being so excited to have this steel case. I'm just like, I can't just get rid of that. And the thing is, you try to sell these things and you get next to nothing from them.
I know.
They've got no value.
Like, this is where we have also like bins and bins of.
When the internet goes out, you can't watch anything but DVDs.
We still have a DVD.
We still have Blu-ray players. We have 3.
Oh, 3.
Right. Yeah. Well, thankfully I never converted to Blu-ray. So I got a few friends who converted near enough their whole collection of DVDs over to Blu-ray, just for it to then a few years later become, not obsolete, but and I'm glad I never went down that road, because I already changed my VHS over to DVD. But that's the frustrating part for me. I don't mind collecting these things if they hold value. So for like the Lego, for example, if we've been buying Lego then instead of DVDs, it would be worth something now if you wanted to sell it. But now with DVDs, it's maybe
we'll give DVDs another 50 years. Where was that going to take us? Oh my god, in our 90s, maybe. Because some of them are like packaged so cleverly, right? Like I get so excited when it's like the full series, and I can get all of them, or I don't know.
Well, you collect books, and
I collect books.
Never go out of style, even though we have audiobooks now, and
I collect a very particular type of book, but even so, like in terms of like sentimentality, I think that's what makes me a collector, right? It's like I'm sentimental about things. I can't let them go. And part of getting older too is trying to kind of let go, right? Trying to declutter. And I don't want to like weigh my kids with the things that brought me joy. And I kind of have conversations with them and like, if it doesn't bring you joy, don't worry about it, right? But I want to be thoughtful too, that I'm not going to bog them down one day. But my kids too, they're kind of sentimental. They're like, oh, but it's mom's books. I'm like, well, I have like hundreds of them, right? So I don't know. We'll see how that story plays out. But we are collectors through and through all our lives, for sure.
Yeah, I think if I hadn't moved so much, I might not have been. Or if I'd sort of bought a home and settled like we have now sooner in life, my situation would have been a lot different. But I think I've almost been forced to be like
a minimalist.
I've moved house 3 times, and I haven't unpacked some of these boxes from 3 moves ago. It's clearly. And again, when I went through that Star Wars collection of the stuff that I was collecting through the 90s and all the rest of it, and that it all went into storage. And I had probably about 100 Power of the Force line figures, which is the action figures that came out. I don't think that I don't ever remember them being on display once. They were just in boxes. So when I got back into the Lego sort of thing, and again, I'd forgotten I even bought that first set. I was like, right,
happy birthday to me.
Yeah, and my fiance was saying to me, look, if you want to get into this Lego, both feet into this Lego and get into it, that's fine, she says, but you need to think about getting rid of some of the older stuff that you didn't even know you had, you've forgotten you had. So that's what I started doing. So I went on this kind of trip of about a year where I was just selling off this stuff. And unlike the DVDs, in a lot of
Yeah.
cases, I did get a lot of extra value for it. So a set I might have, a toy I might have bought for like £10 in Toys R Us, I managed to sell for like 30, 40, 50.
Wow.
Nice.
Not big numbers, it wasn't like
But
hundreds.
still, right.
By the and I think I had about 15 or 20 large crates of stuff, and I got it whittled
Wow.
down.
Wow.
I think maybe 1 or 2 now of stuff that I've kept or I haven't been able to sell,
Yeah.
or it hasn't done particularly well in storage, unfortunately, and things like that. So I've still got, or I've had to bin or whatever, or I've got next to nothing for. But overall, it kind of paid for all my Lego when I first
Current.
got back into
Yeah.
it. For the first couple of years, I guess, with the
Yeah.
amount of money I was making, because I was literally selling figures, and with the
Yeah.
money I was going and buying
That's
Lego. And
yeah. That's awesome.
for space wise, it forced me into being like, you know
Yeah.
what, I clearly don't care enough about this stuff. I don't even know what I've got. It's been in storage for God knows how long. I can't keep moving house and just moving it from A to B. So it's time to get rid of it and replace it with something else.
I don't joke when I say we can't move out of this house. Like we are bonded here by all the Lego plastic we have. Our basement is just on Lego, really, right? So
Having said that, do you want to go into our next segment?
sure.
Which is Share Your Stories, Share Your Stories, Share Your Stories, Weekly Recap. Weekly Recap.
And as if we don't share enough stories, but actually I've been off March break this previous week.
You guys
I
get
guess
a
it's
March
like
break
spring
in-
break for
in-
you
in
guys. I don't know what you guys call it.
What is it?
It's for the kids. Yeah, they're off for spring.
Here we just call it half term.
Half term. And I
Half term.
think that was the case when I was actually in London a few weeks back. That was their half term because all the kids were there.
Well, Wales and England are separate as well, anyway.
Oh, okay.
So England usually have their half term different time to us.
Yes, I see.
So ours was actually, our half term was 2 weeks ago. So
yeah. Well, the thing though is I usually have been very fortunate enough to be able to take time off from work almost all my kids' life because I've been pretty senior at work. And the thing though is as my kids get older, it's like they almost don't want me home. They're like, oh, you're home this week. We're not going anywhere. Oh, you're going to drag us somewhere.
But you dragged our youngest.
Yes, our youngest, he's still 11. He's still, he still likes me. So yesterday we actually went to downtown Toronto and we actually ran into this very cool, I guess they're campaigning for Minecraft. So there was a mall with all these Minecraft, like the movie's coming out April 4. And so there was this whole exhibit of different Minecraft.
What is this creeper made out of?
It was
Did
like
you touch
moss. Like it's almost like maybe I'm sure styrofoam. I feel like industrial designers would have made this, but they had like a whole scene set out for kids to enjoy. We lined up just for a few minutes. They got a free Lego set with it, which was cool. Like it was a little trolley bag. Okay, I'll show it after, show and tell. And then of course a picture that's like on a green screen where he just wanted to take a picture with the sheep. But yeah, it was a pretty expensive, huge installation of all Minecraft characters to just get people.
This pink sheep looks
up.
like it's moving.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. It has very kind eyes, and then of course the different scenes, and
There's
the free Lego set that he got, which is like, I'm gonna give it to Dad. I'm like, I know. And then we were there with a buddy, and
that's later.
And yeah, so there's also like a picture that they had on green screen. And
so
then,
where was this?
This was just in one of our big malls in Toronto area. And it was just fluke that we ran into it because, again, that wasn't our intention. We were coming home from the Art Gallery of Ontario. But yeah, I mean, it was kind of nice that I had the week off. Although I feel like I've had a lot of back-to-back weeks off, and going back to work over the next few weeks, I'm going to be a little bit bummed again. Then I'm like, oh, when's my next time off? Chicago is my next time off. So that's like my next countdown. But yeah, like it's just nice to have downtime. And I don't know. I'm always I'm grateful that I get to hang out. Actually, one of the movies that I kept watching this week, and I don't know if you've seen it, is Wild Robot. So it's based on a book.
Yeah.
God, it's fantastic.
I haven't seen it yet.
So I saw the adverts for the movie. I wanted to take my daughter, but we didn't get a chance to go. And
please watch it. And I mean, like,
Limitless.
I've watched it twice, maybe 2.5 times.
We have it on Amazon Prime.
And I just keep crying. Like, but it's so well done. I highly recommend it. I know it's based on a book, and I actually haven't read that book. But I feel like if I read the book, I'm okay to watch the movie. But if I've started with the movie, I'm a little bit less inclined to read the book, but I just might. But yeah, it's
The
really
kids like
really
it?
good. I really like it.
Yeah,
I've watched
I did.
both.
I didn't know that it was based on a book,
Yes.
but we actually sell the book in my store now as well. So we've just started selling
Oh,
it.
okay.
Yeah.
So I was like, wait a sec, why doesn't the artwork on the book match the movie? But then I
Yes.
realized the book is older, so this is
It's
a reprint
older,
of
yeah.
the
So
book.
this is
Yeah.
like their adaptation to it, but it's a great storyline. It's a great animation. It was really good. Like I know I'm a huge Disney fan, and not that I'm adverse to non-Disney movies, but but yeah, it was really really well done. And then Moana 2 just came out, but I have yet to watch that. I've been warned about it though, that it's
I fell asleep. I was watching it today, and I fell
Moana
asleep.
2. But yeah.
Yeah.
How about you? How was your week?
Yeah, good. Well, I work in retail, so my store only, or my company, well, no, yeah, my store only closes one day out of the year. Obviously that doesn't mean I'm working all those days, but we only close Christmas Day.
Wow.
Every other day of the year we're open.
Wow.
So, we've recently relocated to a larger premises. I say recently; it was coming up to 2 years now, but it still feels recent. So yeah, so it's quite. We were at the store we were in was like 20 years old, so it was quite an oldish store. But yeah, so we're in this kind of new, larger sort of store, which the store, the company that I work for, generally operate on like high streets, so they're like generally quite small store. Or town stores, but we've moved to like a retail park, and it's like a very large unit, and
nice.
it's unusual for the type of. So we've got a larger sort of array of product, but the problem is what comes with working on a retail park is that the opening hours. So it's like 8 p.m. we close, and we open 9 a.m. So it's like 11 hours of trading.
Oh wow! Yeah.
Again, I'm not working all those hours.
Right.
Team of staff, but it can be quite frustrating because when we worked in town, in the town center store, the small, you were kind of home. I was home by like 6 o'clock. We closed out. I was home by 6 o'clock. I walked 15 minutes home, whereas now we've relocated to somewhere that's like an hour's walk from where I live.
Oh wow!
And so
that's a lot of miles for you. I mean, lots of steps.
So I either walk or I cycle, but
nice, yeah.
But yeah, so, and it's a big store and it's open till late. So if I'm working a late shift, which I don't do very often, if I'm honest, but I'm not getting home till like 9 p.m. And it's like, it's just that's a bit frustrating. So I think, so yeah.
And that just kind of shifted the last 2 years, right? Like this new hours, I guess, extension, or just the distance that you have now from home for commute.
I used to work for a food retailer in the UK, and I worked for them for 20 years before moving to this company, which I've now been with for 7, going on 8 years. And the reason I moved from that other company was because they operated like that. So come and work for this company that is like 9 till 6 is the extent of your day. And it's smaller. It's more sort of you weren't just kind of like, a machine just churn out because it was food retail. It was more like interactive with chatting to customers, talking about product that I could, because I've always had an interest in like arts and crafts and reading and that kind of stuff, which is all the stuff we sell. So this is great. But now we've gone to these extended hours, and it's bigger store, and it's starting to go down the avenue of a bit more like just get the stock out. Spending time with customers, chatting to customers about product, and so it's going in that direction. So it's like it can get frustrating.
With the expansion, this is sort of like the consequence of it, right?
And this is the way the company's going now. So they're trying to, I wouldn't say they're closing necessarily, but they are kind of culling off some of the smallest town centre stores, because the town centres in the UK are starting to die without going into too much politics. So they're trying to focus now on these retail pack stores, which make a lot more money and generally it's sort of cheaper to maintain. So, so I would say this week has been a little bit of frustration in my job. I think that's probably the only thing that's really happened. Because I'm really realizing.
You guys don't change time, right? It's just us on our end here, like, because we have daylight savings.
They don't change time.
So we're now like 4 hours difference. I guess.
You do change time.
Oh, you do.
Yeah, so ours is usually about 2 weeks after the US.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember that. I remember Greg from NoMoreBricks was saying.
Because we do get a lot of sunlight now, and I just feel so off this week. I've never been affected by daylight savings, and I don't know, and not even by the jet lag that I had at all. But this week, I I'm struggling to get up, and it's so bright
Oh,
in the
in
morning.
the morning, you're
And I haven't had an alarm, right? Because I've been off, and I am way past when I'm actually waking up at the time I should be waking up before the
maybe
daylight.
because you're off. That's why you can feel you
Maybe,
can sleep in.
but just tired and groggy. And I mean, I'll go for my run in the day, but then I'm just like not me. So I'm like, oh my God, it's another symptom of olding. Oh my God.
You mentioned cycling. Maria
Yes.
got her bikes. The bikes.
So this is
tuned up.
I live close enough to home, but it will probably take me an hour to walk to my work. I work at the hospital, but it's
Right.
like for me, I'm waiting for the snow to melt so I can go back biking. But I just had our bikes tuned up today, so that it's ready to take out.
It's free
and
tune-ups
go.
until 2027.
Oh,
Did you
okay.
say
Yes,
it's free
yes.
tune-
We got like our bikes, and they're always offer, for like a plan, then at least for the next 5 to 7 years, depending on the cost of the bike, then you can get free tune-ups.
They're just
but you pay.
hybrids.
Yes. So I mean,
Right.
I'm excited to go biking again because at the hospital, like yourself, I do have extended hours at my hospital for my department. I work in cancer oncology, and so we're
okay.
probably the busiest department hospital, maybe not just in my province, but entire Canada. Like we just serve a huge population in our suburb, in the vicinity of suburbs. So we are not done until 9 p.m. And like you yourself, you say that, of course, when we're open from 6 a.m. until 9 p.m., we have a whole slew of different shift of our staff on the go, but nobody really likes the 1 to 9 shift but me. I'm like the ongoing 1 to 9 queen. And part of it is it works because like I take the kids to school, I tidy up the house, I kind of have lunch and dinners ready, and then Nick will be home by the time they get home from school.
Right.
And it's a matter of like texting them. And they're older now, but I mean, in terms of biking, when it's dark at 6 p.m., it was actually tricky to bike to work. But like now, as we're creeping towards
gets dark at 7
yeah,
now.
it gets dark at 7, and then we will get sunlight
But
until
still, if
9
you do 1 to
p.m.
9, it's gonna be dark.
1 to 9, we still have like June, July, where it's like right until 9, right?
yeah,
So
sure.
I feel like I'm pretty excited to bike to work again because parking is so bad at work, and I always feel so guilty taking a lot from a patient who would need it, right? And I mean, it's a struggle for patients and staff alike, but I try to reduce my, I don't know, I guess my contribution to parking if I can. But yeah, it's hard in the winter because of course snow, but I'm excited that hopefully I get to bike back soon.
I kind of feel bad. I kind of feel bad now for complaining about working.
No,
working in the hospital.
but this is it. Like I feel like it has to work for your life, right? And I feel like the shifts that I've had, I've loved it. Like I don't know if people are always looking for like a my time. Like the mornings I have is the my time, right? It's like and I mean, like I said, my kids are old enough that at the end of the day, it's like a reminder to, hey, did you do this, or this? And they're more than receptive. It really works for our family anyhow. And like I said, I have my time where I've been able to carve out like workout time before I go to work, and I'm more energized. There's a few times where I have to cover like early shifts, and I am just done for the day. Like it's just not in my routine. And recently I had to do like a 9 to 5 shift, which I know is like the perfect shift for many people, right? But because I don't get my run in the morning, I go to work and I'm mostly in front of a computer. I was just like, oh my God, I'm so stagnant. Like I think I got up on the chair at 11 and I'm like, why am I so tired? Like it's just not me. So
I think that's probably the same with me. I'm more of a night person. Whenever I worked years ago, when I was kind of first kind of getting into management, there was a 12 till 9 shift, which nobody else wanted, and I was like, I'm happy to do it, but I was doing it every day. That's the thing. It's about routine, and I wouldn't have any problem doing those. Well, it's for me, it's an 11 till 8 shift, right, or just after 11 to just after 8. But if I was doing that every night, it wouldn't mind so much. But it's the fact that it's early one day, then it might be late, and you're kind of a little bit. So your body can't get into that routine,
right?
It's just like, and I struggle with that. So,
and this is where, like, of course, like all of my coworkers have different responsibilities at home. Picking up children, I think, is what really stresses everybody out, especially when they're young. But when I see that they fluctuate from like late shift to early shift, and everybody wants to be fair, especially when on the treatment units, I don't know. Like I feel like it's harmful. Right. And I don't know if people just didn't realize that when your body's on a routine, there's actually like it's easier for the body, I think. Like I'm just set in my way. I don't want to sound like I'm too rigid or stagnant, but I think it works so much. And I guess everybody has a different routine for home, definitely, but I would struggle. And we do have something called like an 11-hour violation. Like if I were working 1 to 9, there's no way I could pick up a shift.
I think that's
It's a law. It's a
provincial thing.
provincial, right? So I mean,
Yeah,
I have
that's the same here.
right. So as part of like my supervisory rules, I have to like always make sure that nobody violates that or whatever happens.
Yeah.
But even so, right, when you're 1 to 9, it's like we have to build the schedule cleverly enough and enough that nobody will violate that piece. So I mean, we don't go.
Yeah.
You can go from 7 to 3 one day, and then 1 to 9. It's almost like you have a full day in between there. That you're like, where did time go? People are like off. Like, did I come to work yesterday? Yeah, you did. I saw you. And then they're back so late, right? But yeah.
I think the biggest challenge for us in this household is that my fiance Kirsty, she actually does practically the same job as me, working in a similar type of store.
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't say they're a competitor as such, but a similar kind of thing. There's a children's toy store,
Oh, okay.
and she's also management, so she's obviously the manager of the store as well. And the hours, and she travels a little bit more, so she travels to the closest city to us to work. So it does. So both of us are kind of, I don't know. We find it hard, like where you guys have got that situation where one of you's doing the earlier, one of you's doing the later.
Yeah.
With us, if we had a small child in the house at this point,
that would be very
really
hard.
struggle.
Yes.
You know, we've been relying on for like 12 hours a day. Almost.
Yes, exactly. No, this is our date night. Did we not tell you? Like this is like the most we sit with each other. No.
I get to be the third wheel.
You're the chaperone.
Yeah,
you make sure that nothing.
Harold's missing, so it's you. But yeah, no, we've been very, very fortunate too. When our kids were young, my parents were already retired and living very close to where we are, and they were basically like my kids, you know, like pick up from school and stuff. And so they would take them to their house, and my kids had their toys there, their like change of clothes, like. And we were fortunate enough that by the time we were done late shifts, because at that time too, it's like sometimes our shifts are just all over the place. They're already pajamas, and you know, like they love spending time with grandma and grandpa, and it worked so well that, you know, now I feel like they're all like, we miss going over. I'm like, no, my mom's tired of us. Like, she needs her rest. Like,
it's funny you say that. It's funny you say that because my parents have spent quite a lot of time here with us. They came to us for Christmas. We only bought this house last year, coming up to a year ago. And you know, we've been really settled here. It's been fantastic. And they've come and spent Christmas with us and spent a lot of time here. And we've started, they're getting they live where I originally grew up, which is a place called Barry, just outside of Cardiff, the capital. And they've lived there, you know, since they moved there. Well, yes, they moved there before they started their family. And they've lived there in the same house practically ever since. So, but it's too big. The house is too big for them. There's nothing keeping them in. You know, because they're coming up to 70 now, and like a lot of their friends and stuff have kind of died or have gotten ill, or they don't sort of socialize with anymore. And they, you know, they're on holiday every other. Because my sister lives in Sweden with her.
Oh, nice.
With her partner.
Yeah.
So they go and see her quite regularly, and there's nothing really keeping them in that town anymore. So whenever we see a house for sale because we live in a relatively new housing estate. So the housing estate that we live in is the site of the old rugby field for this town. So it's actually a piece of history here. They've even got like a memorial park in the middle of the housing estate, because it's quite well known. Like rugby is quite big in Wales. And this what used to be the Stradey Park Stadium, which was the local thing. It was kind of moved somewhere else to a bigger stadium because the team got a lot bigger, and they built a housing estate on the site. So all the streets here are named after famous players from
fun. That's so clever.
And it's there's like a memorial garden and stuff. But anyway, the houses here are relative, like it's the housing estate isn't even 10 years old yet, so everything's relatively new. They're nice houses. So every time we see one up for sale, we take a photo.
You send it to them. Enticing.
And I think, you know, that it started off as kind of a joke, but I think the last time they came to visit, they went for a little walk, because there's like a lot of nice areas to walk, and they were like, "Oh, we've just been seeing these," and then they were sat there, and my mum was sat on her laptop looking at some of trying to look at the inside of these houses she's seen for sale, and I'm just like, "Come on, I need to move in because me and Kirsty are planning to have more children once we've been married next year," and then we obviously, no, we're not going to fully rely on them for childcare, but the
Yeah,
plan
but
is
it's just,
if they're
but
living
it's just
nearby.
nice to have family nearby, right?
That's what happened with
Like,
us, actually.
right?
We moved away from,
Where
so we grew up, like we've known each other since
we were 10.
elementary school.
Oh, really?
But we only
Wow.
started dating in high school. But so we lived near each other growing up. But we moved west.
We were just at the
Right.
outskirts of our suburb, and
Yeah.
it's like the biggest suburb in Canada, right?
But then when
Right.
we had our firstborn,
my parents are like, "Oh, we have to see the baby all the time." I'm like, "I live 10 kilometers away from you," and
so
they moved down the
close.
street.
They moved closer.
Wow.
So
Yes.
Wow.
And so we have 3 boys, and like it would be like I would have a baby in a jogger stroller. I'd have the 2 older one in bikes. We would like bike over to my mom's house, have a snack or ice cream, and then bike back home. And like I said, like we had car seats in our cars. They had car seats in their cars. Because
but even after she moved out of the house, she's still in a condo that's kind of still close.
Yeah. My
Close to
mom too downsized. My dad had passed away some time ago, and
Right.
so
Okay.
her big house again, like we say, like the houses they had was also huge, and she's like, I can't keep this up anymore. Like we would be helping her with the snow removal and the gardening, and
But she'll still come by,
Yeah.
drop off some groceries.
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Thank you.
She's like, here we have pizza for you, and she just and she has like a standing date on Fridays with after school with the boys, right? Because now
Right.
that she doesn't see them every day after school like she used to, she likes to keep like some sort of
Yeah.
that sort of
So she'll pick them up
tradition.
after school to
yeah,
go to
yeah.
her place.
She actually lives quite close to my hospital where I work. And so, like I said, when I don't want to take a like parking allotment at work, I actually park in her condo and I walk over.
Right. Okay.
Right. So I'm if
Yeah.
anything like, and then I get to see my mom. Like we're pretty close. But yeah, no, we couldn't have, like, my mom was always like our third spouse, we call her, because we
Right.
couldn't have done like half of our lives without my mom.
No, and my parents have been really, really helpful. But I think we all jokes aside, when we have more children, one or both of us are going to have to change jobs, change
Mhm.
career,
Mhm.
or we're going to hope that they've moved in. But even then, I think we wouldn't want to rely on them all the time because they're
Yes.
both retired.
Yes.
They
Yeah.
they work all their lives, so they're just kind of enjoying it now.
For
But the thing is
sure.
I'm one of 3, and my sister and her partner live in Sweden. They don't have any
Okay.
children.
Okay.
So she's in a same-sex relationship.
Yes.
So they don't have. They're not. Neither of them are particularly maternal at all, so they're
Okay.
not interested in
Mhm.
sort of having children. They're into their pets kind of thing. That's their children,
Mhm. Mhm.
which is fine. That's their own thing. And then
Your brother.
my brother is married. He's a couple of years older than me, but
Mhm.
he's the same. They got their dog. They
Oh,
decided not to have children very early
yes,
on.
yes.
So
You're
he's
the
been
one who's
married.
like, I give you grandchildren.
Yeah.
Oh,
Come
exactly.
to
So
me.
I'm like, if just letting you know that if we have more children, we're not going to be able to bring them
Yes,
down and see you all the time. You have to
yes,
come
yes.
to us. But if
And
you
it
live
would just
across
be
the road,
nice for them. I think part of it is, I don't know how far your brother lives from them too, but your sister's far, right? Like, but
Mm.
somebody who's close by to also check in on them. Like, this is like,
Yeah.
me
Yeah.
and my mom. It's like, I'll check in on her and see how she's going and tell
well,
her, go to your Zumba.
I'm the middle child, but I'm the executor of their estate.
Our middle child's going to be the executor of our estate too. He
Yeah,
doesn't know it yet.
He's the smartest.
Yeah.
Don't tell the
I
others.
don't know whether I'd class myself as that, but I'm probably the most tenacious.
Okay.
So if anything was to happen, I'd be the one saying, "Hang
Yeah,
about, this needs to be sorted."
that's right.
Because I think because of my job, the responsibility I've got with
Yes, for
my
sure. You're
sister
used
and
to
my brother are more like they prefer to be led by somebody, whereas I'm more
Right,
of a right. This is
Yeah,
what we're
let's
doing.
go do it.
So,
Great.
We like
but
that.
I don't
Yeah.
even know. We've segued quite a lot there because I don't even know. I don't think I've shared a story because nothing's really happened to me this week. If I'm honest. I was essentially trying to tell you that it was boring, but
Yeah, it was work and work.
Oh.
I had 2 days off in the middle of the week, which I very rarely do because I'm working all weekend, which again is
Yeah.
quite unusual. But I had 2 days off in the middle of the week, and I spent quite a bit of time working on some new stuff for the channel.
Okay.
So and which I don't often get to do. So that's the only thing really that worth sort of shouting about is that I've had a chance to do some work to try and
That means you're
improve the show.
working this Saturday?
So yeah, working tomorrow and I'm working Sunday. Yeah.
Okay.
So I worked out that if I could get 3.5 hours sleep before the stream and then 4 hours after the stream, I could get my 7.5 hours. Great. I managed to have 1 hour before the stream.
Right.
So,
right.
And I should only get I'm not going to have any more than about 4 after the stream. So I am going to be But
Okay.
again, the joys of being a manager is you can kind of sit back and let the team do their job.
Delegate,
And
delegate, right? Delegate. Okay,
Yeah.
I guess we should move on
Let's
to our
go-
next
let's go to
segment.
our next segment. Which is
It's time for show and tell.
see, usually Harold's here to change the ticker tape, but
Yes,
I can do it too.
I'm so glad. I am just here. My producer right here beside me.
Oh, how can I make it so? Oh, you're gonna be off to the side. I don't know how to make it to the middle. Okay. All right. What do you got?
Very small show and tell. I feel like I haven't really shown off all of my souvenirs when I went to my trip, but I am a collector of many other things, but I love like book bags. I have to stop
Oh, okay.
buying book bags, but I
What
actually
is
got
this?
this one from the Globe Theater, the Shakespeare Globe Theater over in
Oh.
London. I was able to
there's
catch a
Shakespeare.
show there when I was there. So that was quite an awesome experience.
What does it say? To be or not
Yeah,
to be?
to be
That
or
is
not
the
to be.
question.
So I just wanted like a small
Oh, there's
souvenir from the Globe Theater. I think I got this and I got like a beanie toque. Where did I put my beanie toque anyways? But yeah, I have this thing for, and my friends call me like an old woman, but I've been an old woman since in my 20s, but I've always loved book bags because I always like go to the library and I'll use this. They're very useful. But I thought I saw this and it was, I don't know, £5. So not too bad. And because I only like traveled with a carry-on, it was easily condensed. But yeah, no, going to the Globe Theater was a cool experience with history, and one of the more every day was an experience for sure when I was there. I've never been to London until that time, and
Oh wow, okay, yeah.
and I don't know if I didn't tell you, but I haven't traveled without a kid for the last 20 years. Like I've
Okay.
always had like somebody here, like on a baby, like a baby pack, like a baby Bjorn, or like a toddler that I'm holding tightly to, or when the three of them, because like once we had owned the clinic and Nick could never take time off, and so it was always me traveling with like 3 kids and my mom. But it was like, oh my god. And I got invited to go with a girlfriend and to meet up with our friend over in London, and I'm like, without anybody, like it was the first time I had a hotel room to myself.
No car seats.
Insane. No car seats, and just, you know, it's like I've checked in. What now? I'm not thinking of having snacks for anybody. It was phenomenal. I want to do it again. It's like a whole new phase of my life. Don't tell my kids. But that said, yeah, I just wanted to show this because I thought it was a fun
They
thing.
still do shows there.
Yeah, they did.
Really?
So
Have you been there?
No, I've never been. No.
So they even have like a thatched roof, and I've never seen. I know I sound dumb. I've never seen a thatched roof
What's
in
a
my life.
thatched roof?
And so I'm sure it's like wood and everything, but they put like
Like
we
hay?
still have those here.
yeah, like
hay?
what do we put? Grass. Like what's the thing outside?
Oh,
Dried,
gra-
Like
yeah,
rolled
dried
grass. Yeah.
twigs
Like
and stuff
sod?
like
Yeah,
that.
sod, right? And so I'm like, why is the roof green? And they're like, it's a thatch roof.
It
I'm
was
like,
a sod, like a
"Oh."
grass roof.
Yeah, like I'm sure there's like wood
Oh.
underneath there, but they have that too. And so I didn't watch a Shakespeare play. It was a play by Anton Chekhov, The Three Sisters.
Right.
And we love musicals, and we watch a lot of musicals, but this is a rare one that it's like a play, like without any
Singing.
music or song. And I was like, oh, I don't know what to expect. And the acting was just phenomenal.
Was it
like
funny or
it
just
was a drama.
dramatic?
It was a drama, like
Okay.
Russian Revolution and everything, but like it's so well done, very close to the audience, like the all the actors. I've never had an experience like that, so I thought it was great. But yeah, I guess they also have a lot of Shakespeare plays then. It just so happened that weekend that I was there, that was what show was playing. So, but yeah, my friends who live there, they see like a show every weekend. I'm like, what?
I was going to say, just segueing slightly. What is your favorite musical? Because me and Kirsty are huge musical fans as well. Mine is
Oh my
Hairspray.
god, Rent for me, hands down.
When we were in university, Rent was playing close
Yes.
in Toronto.
Yes.
We've saw it a bunch of times.
A lot of times. Enough. I mean, this is it. Like I feel we when we were in grade 8, grade 9, even grade 7, they would take us to like these plays from school. And now they don't have those programs anymore. And so it's up to us to like bring our kids and expose them to musicals. But my
But the
first
thing-
one was Phantom of the Opera, Les Mis, Miss Saigon. But
The thing with with Rent when we were in university, they had these tickets where if you lined up
yeah,
really, really early, they're giving out $10 tickets,
yes.
and it was front
Oh, right.
row.
Yes. I think they
And
have,
because I
yeah.
think it was like it was like the homeless or something, but we weren't homeless. Like,
Yeah.
but that was like the theme of Rent
Yes,
was just on
Right,
the
yeah.
streets.
Yes.
And so, but people were in line. Everyone is like, we're singing all the songs from Rent
Yes,
while we're
we were
waiting.
rent heads.
And I guess, yeah, they were called Rent Heads. And so that was
Better,
Yeah.
better than Rent Boys, I guess. So
Yeah. How about you? What's your favorite musical?
I'm a huge fan of Hairspray. I love Hairspray.
Ooh, yes,
That's a good one.
Hairspray.
So that's why I connect quite well with Hive as well, because he's from Baltimore. But
Yes.
yeah, so I love Hairspray.
That's awesome.
Seen
Yeah,
that
we
when
watched
we
that a
were
lot.
in New York, we saw Beetlejuice,
Oh, cool.
and we saw because Kirsty's a huge. She's probably more of a musicals person than me, and she's kind of got me into them. But
Mhm.
she's also prefers like horror type theme things.
Oh, what
I
happened?
always see Kinky Boots. So we saw Beetlejuice and Kinky
That
Boots.
was so fun. Yeah.
But Kinky Boots was really funny because, like, I knew about the story,
Yeah.
generally, but it was funny being in New York watching
Watching.
a show based in the UK.
Yeah.
And obviously, people there were New Yorkers doing British accents,
You're
and
like,
it was kind of like, this is really kind of weird for me because
Yeah.
usually it's the other way around. We're watching
Yes.
in the UK,
Yeah.
we watch musicals, and they're
Correct.
based in another country, but in a lot of cases,
Correct.
American. So you're like, wait a sec, we're in America, we're watching people putting on British accents. It was kind
Yes.
of really odd, but
Yeah.
but no, it was. Yeah, those two were fantastic. But we've seen quite a few. I think
Yeah.
Kirsty got tickets for Hamilton.
Oh,
coming
so
up.
I was gonna say, yeah, my kids are so in love with Hamilton over pandemic that when the borders opened, our first trip was to New York, and we did like a Hamilton weekend where we visited like
Wow.
where he was buried,
We
where
watched
they had the pub.
Hamilton, and then
We watched
went-
Hamilton and did the whole
Yeah.
like very cool lives of Hamilton. But yeah,
But I do notice a difference between musicals on Broadway versus musicals in Toronto, because
Right.
like just the singing quality. Like we saw Wicked
Mhm.
in New York, we saw Hamilton in New York, and then seeing musicals here, they're good as well. But just the voices in
level.
Broadway, just the
Yeah.
level of quality is
who makes it in Broadway.
it's a lot.
Yeah,
different.
I just saw Come From Away a week ago, and that one is actually it's a 100-minute long show nonstop, and it's the story of 9/11 when all the airlines were grounded and they were actually deflected to Newfoundland, one of our provinces in Canada, and the community of that city in Newfoundland actually opened up their doors to all of these grounded airline, and the uncertainty of that scary time, right? So that's an excellent show if you are ever to catch it. I mean, it's also on Broadway all the time. I saw Lion King recently again. I took the boys to that one, and I saw that earlier too when it first came. But that's always a good one to catch. And of course, Wicked, the movie came out, but we saw Wicked in New York, and I saw Wicked.
I saw
in
Mean
Toronto.
Girls.
He likes Mean Girls. So.
She didn't like Mean Girls. I like it.
What did we see? What's the other? It's a bit like Mean Girls. They did a local one. With the Heathers.
Oh, the
First
Heathers.
one.
Yes.
So we saw the Heathers locally, and that was pretty good.
Yeah. Have you seen Six?
I haven't, but Kirsty went to see it.
That one's so good. That one's so good.
She was blown away by it.
And Julia, like just high energy.
The first one I ever saw, because I was I studied drama, and when we went to see a couple of different sort of plays. So we went to see One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, which isn't really a musical, really a show. And we also went to see Blood Brothers. Now, I don't know if you've heard of Blood Brothers, because it's more of a UK-based one, but it is quite big in the UK. Right. So Cats, I guess, is pretty much the same, because it's kind of UK based. But
I grew up on Andrew Lloyd Webber, right? Like all of his musicals and things like that, and how we've moved on from there. But like, of course, I think what always resonates with us is what we first heard when we were younger. Yeah. Right. Like I know all the lyrics to all of his shows and everything, and now it's like I struggle to commit to memory like songs. Like we've been listening to Wicked, a soundtrack on repeat all the time, and like I won't be able to like sing it in my head. Okay, good for you. Someone listens to it more than I do.
Sing and tell.
Sing and tell.
Yeah, Les Mis, Miss Saigon,
all those. Like I know all of Andrew Lloyd Webber's and everything, but we love it to be able to bring our kids to these shows too. I saw Moulin Rouge recently. I took my mom to that one, Moulin Rouge, and actually later this summer
that's one thing I haven't done.
Back to the Future is coming.
Oh, speaking of Back to the Future.
Back to the Future.
That's our jerseys today.
Oh, is
Yours
that?
Oh
is
wow!
Back to the
I was
There
Future.
going to
you
ask about
go.
I was going to ask about the jerseys.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So the first time I ever saw you guys was when you did the Sean's birthday video.
Oh yeah.
We have
Not,
the
I
different
think it might have
jerseys.
been last year's, and you
Yeah,
guys were
yeah.
just. I was just thinking, guys, these guys are. It took me a while to realize. I thought you were it was a group of like 10 guys that he knew, and I'm thinking, wait, is this all the same video? Wait, these are the same people from the first part, because I think you changed like maybe your glasses and you changed your
Yeah.
jerseys constantly. So
We
it took
kept
me a while
changing
to work out you're the
costumes.
same two people. So I didn't know
Yeah.
who you were up until that point, but
Yeah.
obviously
Yeah.
then I kind of cottoned on to right. These guys are
See,
kind of
we're
like a little bit out
collectors
there.
or hoarders, whatever you want to call us.
We hoard
But
jerseys as well.
I'm a huge Back to the Future fan.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
We went to see Back to the Future so it's Broadway in New York. What's it called
Yeah.
in London? West End in London.
West End.
We went to
Yes.
see
Yes. Yes.
Back to the Future. Then it was fantastic.
Yeah, we haven't seen it
was
yet.
really
I don't
good.
know. We have to figure out how to get tickets for that one. Yvonne's going already, so Back to the Future.
Yeah,
Figure out what's a good
but
timing.
if you get a chance to see Blood Brothers, it's effectively the story of the Prince and a Pauper.
Oh,
but
okay.
Based in like sort of British kind of rundown area.
Yeah.
In the car, I think it's based in like the 70s, 80s or something like that.
Okay.
So there's a lot of kind of, because it's like, I think Liverpool, which has kind of got like quite a heavy, it's quite close to Manchester, but it's quite a heavy kind of, sort of depression hit kind of thing, era type thing. So a lot of it might not resonate with you guys necessarily from with different background, and it didn't with me even, but the story that's there is quite like emotional and quite heavy. So and some of the songs from that are quite catchy, but again, top of my head, I don't think I'd be able to remember them, but I remember like at the time walking away being like,
yes.
Yes.
Well, one of the shows we saw, and because I guess they mashed all the songs that we already know from pop culture, was And Juliet. So I don't know if you've heard of that, but it's from the songwriter who also wrote for Christina Aguilera, Britney Spears, Backstreet Boys. So they created a whole story of Romeo and Juliet from Juliet's perspective, but they created the whole plot line using like all those popular songs from the 90s, right? And creating like, and so because we grew up,
it was what if they didn't?
Yes, what if she didn't die? But it's just clever because they use the lyrics of the song to also create like the projection of the plot, right? So it was very cool. And because you knew these songs from the 90s, you're singing along with it. You're like, oh, I know all the words to this musical, but
But no, I like the connection with Back to the Future because obviously my name is actually Martin, so as close to Marty as you could probably get.
Yes. Oh no, we grew up totally watching Back to the Future over and over again. And I guess this is again maybe our childhood or my childhood. I love movies, and I would watch them like over and over again. And like now we don't have that. But I don't know. But I don't think our kids do that anymore.
No.
Right? They like watch a movie and they like move on from it. Like
it's funny you say that because we have like an 80s festival because as well as
fun.
As well as my job, my full-time job, and my volunteering at Brick, I actually I'm on the board of directors as a volunteer for our local town BID, we call it here, which is a business improvement district, which is where people from the people who aren't connected politically but come together to sort of plan events in the town centre. So we have like something at Christmas, something in the summer during most of the sort of half-term breaks for kids. So we have an 80s festival, which we kind of tie into Armed Forces Day, which is like June for us. So we usually have the Armed Forces Parade in the day. So all the veterans and obviously the people who are currently, in that kind of thing, RAF, that kind of thing, all do like a parade. And then come the afternoon, then once all that is over, we do like an 80s. So we have like put on a show of bands. I mean, they're not like, they look either local bands or people taking off, people like Cher or whatever. And we'll have that, and there'll be like street vendors, food, drink, and all that kind of thing. And all the local sort of stores will put like different deals on and promotions on, and it's in the town center. So I'm a board member for them. So it's like, it's a registered job, but it's volunteered, like, so I would have to resign my position officially if I wanted to stop doing it. So it's kind of weird because when I explain that to people, they're like, well, it's voluntary, but it's not coming over. It's still we got to attend meetings and stuff like that. So it's
you have your minutes.
So we're on this, and we did an 80s event, and they were showing in our local theatre which is a cinema type complex, but big theater in the town center. They were doing like Back to the Future. They were playing that in the evening, and I was like, oh, so I said to my daughter, we'd been at the 80s event, but because I was with my daughter, I wasn't gonna. A lot of the guys, people, the families will drink, and then they'll drop the kids off somewhere, and they'll go out in the town center and turn it into a weekend or a fun night. But for me, obviously, I wasn't going to do that. I had my daughter with me, so I said, "Oh, why don't we go and check out?" And it was free for people to view as well, So I was like, "Okay, let's go and check out Back to the Future." She went, "No, I don't really understand." Well, she watched it, and she was absolutely blown away by it because she loves this whole sort of time space continuum
travel.
thing.
Yes,
so we were walking away from there, and she was like, "But what? So if you..." And she was asking all these questions, and I was just like, I remember feeling the same way. So I'm glad that she's picked that up. So then I started talking to her about the film, and this is one of my favorite films, called Interstellar. Have you seen that?
Yes.
Amazing.
So
yes,
I was telling her about this. I showed her a trailer, and she was like, "Oh, we need to see that." And we sat and watched it, and it's quite a long movie. I think it's about three hours long.
Yeah.
It took us about 8 hours to watch it because she was like, "Right, pause. How is it that they've just got?" She couldn't, and I couldn't when I first watched it, grasp the fact that they landed on this planet 10 years later, and the woman who's died there has died an hour ago, and it's like she's like, "Wait, what? What?"
Time continuum.
Yeah, and then they get back to the ship like an hour later, and the guy has aged like 30 years, and she's like, "Wait a sec, pause. What's that?" And I'm like, "Well," I said, "it's based on theory. It's all theoretical." I said, because as humans, we've never actually.
She sounds like she might be a physicist because she's going to try to prove these things.
She's gotten really into it. So I was showing her the trailer for Mickey 17. And she was like,
I know, I heard.
So I went to see it, but she was kind of a bit like.
Is that time travel?
Yeah.
No, it isn't really. It's like replica, kind of replicants.
It's like Groundhog Day. It's a little bit like Groundhog Day, but not. It's like a replication of him, right?
Yes. I mean, that's based.
I haven't heard of it.
It's what's his name from Twilight? Pattinson.
Oh yeah.
Robert the vampire.
Pattinson,
Robert. I was like James Robert. Yes.
So I tried to. So I was thinking, right, is she into science fiction?
Yeah.
Which I'm a massive fan of science fiction.
Yeah.
But it seems like for her, no, it's just because she was like, I don't really like the look of that. So but she wanted to watch not the astronaut. What's the Martian with Matt Damon? She wanted to watch that because she thought, and when she watched it, she was like, doesn't like there's no time change or anything. I was like, no, it's just a space movie. She went, I thought so she's thinking all sci-fi movies
are gonna have a time warp.
And I was like,
what else is time warp? I guess like the time traveler's wife, but that has more of a romance bit to it, right? Because it keeps going back in time. And
did she watch part 2 also?
Oh, Back to the Future.
So we started watching part 2 and she got a little bit confused, and I can't remember what happened, but I think we started watching it quite late, and I literally had to draw out the timeline for her because she was getting really confused. So she's got this one of these dry wipe board things, dry wipe board. She's had it since she was little, but it's still relevant now because we use it when we have these game days. So she was like, right, let's bring this downstairs. We're trying to watch a movie, and I'm drawing the timeline, the same one the doc draws, but I'm explaining it because it just flashes up on the screen. I'm trying to show it in a bit more detail. So right, so because Biff has gone to the past and he's given the almanac to him, she's like. And anyway, it got quite late, and she was like, "I'm going to go to bed and think about it, and we'll watch the rest tomorrow." And we just never. Did
you get confused? Because I remember when I was a kid, I got confused when all of a sudden there was the bad version. I'm like, wait, what happened?
Yeah,
I remember as a kid, I'm like, oh, okay.
But she was only like 10 years old at the time. I mean, this is only a couple of years ago. So she's 12 now.
Yeah.
I think she's got it. So what we've said is we'll watch all 3 of the Back to the Future movies back to back properly. Or maybe not necessarily back to back, but within a weekend, and watch them again. Because when we said, right, let's watch the rest of Back to the Future 2, she was like, I didn't really need to. I really want to kind of watch them again. Like, okay, that's fair enough. We'll do it again. But I said a couple of times to me, can you find more movies that are like Interstellar? If not, can we watch Interstellar again? And I'm like, I love
what's the other one? Like the same director made. I can't even remember the director's name now. I love him. There was Christopher Nolan. There was a huge mock set in Chicago, Brick World Chicago last year.
All Christopher Nolan movies.
An homage to like his stuff in Lego. It was amazing. But he has another one with Leonardo DiCaprio. I believe he's the same director. Leonardo DiCaprio and
Inception.
I feel like there's like a time warp there too that she might find very intriguing, right? Like.
because
And
I was
also
gonna,
Memento. Memento is a bit more. Memento also is by Christopher Nolan.
yeah,
It's a bit more adult, I feel, but again, like the time shifts because it's going backwards, right? So it's not
Yeah.
necessarily like a moving forward in time, but he likes to play with warping time, right? And like
yeah.
what
Well,
it means.
I was gonna show her Tenet. Have you seen that one?
Yes, I did. Yes.
Haven't
So I was going to show her that one, but I thought that one's probably a little bit too
I know.
complicated because
Yeah,
I've watched that a
yeah.
couple of times, and I
Yes,
still when
yes.
they're looking at themselves in the
Yes.
mirror, not the mirror, but the other side, and everything is kind of. And I'm just like,
Okay,
I
yeah.
can't get my head
Isn't
around
it fun to like be able to watch movies again through the lens of our kids, right? Like I do that. Like
Yeah.
I like exactly what you did. Like our guys were like, oh, let's watch Interstellar together, and just to see their brains go, whoa. So I feel like as they get older, I have like a bunch of movies that I want to
And then
watch
there's
with them too.
Hot Tub Time Machine, but I guess that's more
Yeah,
inappropriate.
I know.
Yeah.
Hey, what's your show and tell before we're really like out of this thing?
Actually, just show this one.
Oh yeah, sorry.
can
This
show
is
you
the Minecraft set that our youngest made over March break, and this is
This
that
was
free
the
item.
poly bag that
The poly
Right.
bag. Yes.
This is the thing was meaning to ask you guys, because you guys will probably know better than anyone else I know, is that because Minecraft already existed in Lego before they made a movie, and now they're making Lego sets based on the movie sets, and it's slightly different. It's really confusing to me. So is it going to be a different character now playing that character, right?
I think some of the minifigures are going to be new based on the live action movie.
But they're not
to
going
like
to change the style of the builds.
I don't think so.
I think the style
think
is still
it remains the same,
the
right?
blocky style. Yeah.
But yeah, I like how the panda's made, like just a few lines of black into the white, and
Yeah, I don't have that
they
panda yet.
create that. Yeah, so here,
That's
this
cute.
is what we found for you when we
Thanks.
went to Toronto yesterday. Lego for Nick.
What do you got, Cool Han?
Now this is the one bit where I actually did my work, did some actual work. So I noticed that you guys were like book enthusiasts, and I work in a store that sells books. A lot of the some of the books you were talking about, the new trending books we get, and we get like exclusives because that store is quite well known.
Let me guess, the new Hunger Games, which is coming out on the 18th.
Yeah, we got them in hardback.
I
haven't got it. I mean, I could have brought a copy of that home, but I don't read that kind of thing. Because I actually got them in my store now, even though it doesn't launch till Tuesday.
Awesome. Yeah,
we were actually pricing them up ready today. But that's not something I would read. But I do buy some of them for Kirsty. But our store does exclusives in the UK. So in the UK, if you go to the work store, which is the company I work for, we'll do a particular version of a book with like sprayed edges that you won't get anywhere else.
Yes.
And we also give away like bookmarks and stuff that'll say the works, but it'll have the branding of the book as well.
I love that.
Pin badges as well. So you'll have to let me know, because we got loads of pin badges, bookmarks left over, because they always send more than there is.
Do they ship to Canada? Probably international.
No, I was going to say, if there's any, I'll show you some of the stuff we've got left over. Let me know, and I'll bring it over to Brickworld, because it's only like. I think there was one recently called like "Let's Break Up" or something like that.
Oh, cute!
A vampire one, and they made like little pin badges, and I had loads of these pin badges. So
yeah.
But
yes.
So yes, as a book fan, even though I don't read that kind of stuff, I tend to only read either Star Wars, science fiction, and classics. Yeah. So these are all the books that I'm currently reading.
Ooh, I love it.
So I'm currently reading the United States Constitution, which I bought. I bought this when I was in Philadelphia.
How many pages is that?
It's very small.
How tall are you? Because that book looks so tiny in your hand.
It's probably like a volume to me.
I'm 6'3", I think.
Okay,
okay, you're tall.
I'm 5 feet tall, by the way.
It is
Maria's 5 feet tall.
Yeah, that would be like a huge book in my hand.
Be like a tomb. But yeah, so I bought this. And my fiance was like, I'm buying like pin badges and T-shirts and stuff like that.
And you're buying the American Constitution.
I said, because I'm just interested in reading it. And it is quite confusing to read, because it's like written in
17th century, right?
Yes. Yeah, so I'm just like...
Old English, for sure.
But I think this is quite cool.
Was Benjamin Franklin one of the authors of this? Benjamin Franklin, right? Like, it's many authors. What's the circa?
The founding fathers. So this is obviously a reprint, but it's
yes. What would be the initial date for that?
So I had it stamped as well because I bought this.
Oh my god!
Oh, no. Sorry, I didn't buy this in Philadelphia. I bought it in. I bought it at the Statue of Liberty.
Oh, awesome.
Wow.
Awesome.
It's got the Statue of Liberty stamp, which you
Oh.
could ask him to have.
I
So
got to say, like, that was one thing that was cool, I thought, because I went to a bookstore in London called the Hatchards, the oldest,
right.
one of the oldest bookstores. And when I bought a book there, they actually stamped it with the Hatchard stamp. So I needed to buy a book.
Oh.
And also when I went to
Right.
Paris Shakespeare and Co., they also have a stamp
didn't know
Shakespeare
that was
and
a thing.
Co. So and I've never had my book stamps. Like my books are like virgins.
Yes.
So I'm like, what? We're gonna like stamp a book? Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing we get into ours now and then. We get book plates, which are
Yes.
signed by the author, and they're actual, not printed.
awesome.
They're real signatures, so they can choose to stick it in if they
Oh,
want.
that is so fun.
But there's no
Okay.
date in this. There's no date in this at all, so I
Oh.
can see. So I don't know.
Okay.
It's obviously.
So now you're
I'm
reading that. Okay.
I'm
Right
also
before
reading.
Chicago. I like that.
I'm
Oh, the
also
art.
reading.
I've read this. Yeah, I've read the Art
So
of
this
War.
is the abridged version.
Mhm,
So it's
mhm.
the shortened
It's a bit
version. But
fatter, yes.
I do own the unabridged version as well, which
Yes.
is like a thick hardback designer cover.
Yes.
But this
yes.
is just kind of easy reading, really.
Yeah,
So
for sure, for sure.
it's got to be some Star Wars in there. So I'm also reading this Tales of the.
So how
Ooh,
do
Star
you
Wars,
how do you
Tales
find
from the New
time to
Republic.
read? Do you read before bedtime? Do you read on your breaks?
I used to read every opportunity I got. When I walked
Mhm.
15 minutes to work, I would weirdly, and I got some
No.
funny look. I would read walking to work.
Oh wait, read going to like not an audiobook?
No, read whilst walking
What?
to work.
You are better than me. I can't do
Wow.
that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, where I used to live, I was like a 10-minute. Not even that. I could probably do a fast walk and get to my store in about 5 minutes from where I used to live.
Okay.
But there's no roads to cross, so I would literally be walking like this. But generally, yeah, bedtime, flights, traveling. I would read, especially if I was traveling on my own.
Do you
I'd
do
read
audiobooks at all?
I can't do it. I've tried audiobooks and I just can't.
He's getting into
can't connect.
audiobooks.
I started doing the Speechify.
Yeah, he
So
likes to hear
I've
Gwyneth
been
Paltrow.
scanning the books and then
Reading
Right.
it.
Yeah, I saw you guys were talking about it in one of the previous shows, and I was just like,
yeah.
I've tried it. I tried it once on a flight.
Mhm.
It was one of the Star Wars ones. I can't remember which one, but I remember listening to it, and I just kept falling asleep, and I had to rewind. And I just, even though I wasn't tired. So.
Yeah, sometimes it's like the narrator, and sometimes they can put you to sleep. But I've been running. Every time I go for a run, I'm on an audiobook, or commuting, I'm on an audiobook. But there's only the books that can't be an audiobook that I can't that I have to read, of course. But to be fair, I feel like classics, when I go back reading like Virginia Woolf or Charles Dickens, like I can't do those as audiobooks. I need to like read them and be really immersed in the storyline and stuff. But I
am more of a physical person.
Yes,
when it comes to things like that. I
Yeah,
like to hold
yeah,
things
yeah.
in my hand,
Yes.
But that's not to say I won't try again. But so I'm also I've been reading this for quite a while actually.
Oh, The War of the Worlds, that's a good one. Yes.
So I've got a lot of this vintage collection. I've got probably about 30 titles from this vintage collection.
Oh wow.
okay.
Which we sold in my store.
Okay.
And
yes,
they worked out like a pound each after my discount and deals. So I picked up like
my God, if I worked where you worked, I'd be bankrupt. I'd be like, oh, I made money. Here you go, back company.
Oh, what's that?
Princess Emma.
That's
a cool bookmark. Oh my gosh.
Princess Leia.
Yeah.
So I got this one.
Ooh, fun.
That's actually a patch, but I use it as a bookmark.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Cool.
What's my bookmark in here? I got loads of bookmarks. Oh, here you go. So
yeah, bookmarks. Me and bookmarks were tight.
Star Wars.
Wales. The Red Dragon Wales.
Oh, the Red Dragon.
Yeah, that's cool.
I thought it's
so
been
that's
Wars.
my bookmark in there. So the other thing I'm reading at the moment, this is a classic.
Is it Everyman Library?
No.
Can you see it?
I can't see it. No. King Solomon's Mines. Oh, I haven't read that one.
Do you have
Uh,
it?
And in this one, my bookmark is one that my daughter made for me out of paper.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah,
An origami one.
That's smart. That's
I like
cute.
that.
Yeah, that's nice.
So I'm currently reading that, and I'm also reading Dostoevsky as well.
Oh, he's great. I haven't read Red White Nights, but I've read Dostoevsky.
Don't read this before bed because it's really depressing.
Oh,
depressing.
well,
the story isn't
Russian,
depressing.
Russian. A lot of Russian literature is not really the light and bright, right? Like it's cool.
I got a
Baldwin.
free bookmark
For Baldwin.
Yeah.
Right.
No Name in the Street. This is so.
Yeah.
Which I haven't read that either, but it was a free bookmark when I bought the book. So.
Yeah, I know. That's cool.
But that's everything I'm currently
I
reading, and
know.
that's
See,
probably
I love it. Like I have like book piles all the time ongoing too, and I like jump from book to book, and then I get excited when the library tells me, "Oh, your books are ready to like pick up for hold," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna pick them up," and just holding a book just makes me so
it's
excited.
weird. It's weird though, because normally with everything else in life, I get frustrated if I can't finish it, I can't complete it. But when it comes to books, I like to have a bunch on at the same time. So
Yes. Yeah.
I also got this. I didn't want to just show off Lego because I feel like
I know.
you guys and people out there have seen all the Lego we got.
Is that a coin? What is that?
Oh.
So I had this made for me. So a friend of mine worked in like she makes things out of wood.
Oh,
Makes things
okay.
out of wood, but she also
Is it like a
carves
wood?
wood.
Oh, okay.
So if you look, it's
Darth Vader.
Oh, cool.
but if you go all around the outside,
it's all the
story
characters.
so you can see
I see the
Yeah.
heads.
Yes. Oh, that's so
sabers,
cool.
and it's all these different things. So there's
This
like
is
ships.
wood, so it's like a wood burning pen that she has.
Oh, that's
There's a
the
Star Destroyer. There's
Oh,
an
that looks so
X-wing.
cool.
So it's supposed to look like a kind of this Jabba the Hutt.
Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah.
It's
You have
supposed
to
be
like really look to see what it is.
Yeah.
Great
When you see
design. What a
just
great
looks
design.
It's like you got the Millennium Falcon at the top here.
Yeah.
But
And where do you
so
usually hang this?
She gave me this for free because I
Oh.
told I'd gotten into like streaming and stuff. So she said,
Yeah.
look, I mean, she would have sold this probably for about 20-30 quid, but she said you could have this
Wow.
for free because I knew her. She was used to shopping my shop
Yeah.
regularly. So I've always said that I was going to hang it up and put on display, but I've never got a chance to. So I thought
That
at least I
looks
get
great,
to show it off.
Yeah, no, that looks amazing.
Well, how does the back look?
I've been tempted to paint it, but I'm worried I might ruin it if I mess it up. But the back is plain. So
Yeah. No, I like her design concepts with the just line use.
And the other thing I'm really into, because I'm like craft, so as well as books and Lego and a million other things, I like diamond art as well, but I haven't got any of that to show. But I also like cross stitch.
Stop it. Are you and me like long lost twins?
So I made one of each of these
awesome.
for us. So this one's for my daughter because she's a huge Mario fan.
Yeah.
And then, so these are coasters basically. So I've made the cross stitch and you put it into like a little.
What's that character again?
This is a Goomba.
Goomba. Yeah, Goomba.
So you got that, and then I made this for myself.
Fun.
Grogu.
Yes.
Grogu, and then I made this one for Kirsty because she's obviously a Disney fan.
Oh, cute. Now we know all your favorite characters. I used to cross stitch heavily when I was younger, and my kids got in the way, but I used to make these big, I had an aunt who made tapestries worth of like cross stitching and big patterns, and I'm like, and got really involved. But yeah, maybe that's more projects for me to get back into.
Yeah, those are some of my smaller ones. I've done some huge things and given them as presents. We've got I've made Kirsty some Beetlejuice ones. So we've got one downstairs on the wall, which I don't want to take off the wall, but it says, "I myself am stranger than usual." I've done it in the different colors.
Nice.
And when I proposed to Kirsty, I made her a cross stitch, which just said, she said yes. And we put that in a frame up on our wall next to a photo, because I also had a watercolor painting done by a professional artist of the place where I proposed to her, which is on the beach here. I mean, I'm about
so romantic.
He is so romantic. I don't know.
So it had that done by a local artist of a watercolor of the and we actually used to live at the beach there, like literally a minute's walk, 30-second walk from where I proposed at the time. But even now we're only 10-minute walk from the beach. So
nice.
And then the last thing I've got to show, this my customized P1 Star Wars.
That's crazy.
Ooh, that
so you can see
wild.
you can't really see the color very well in this, but let me just turn this up a little bit. You might be able to see a bit better.
Which stormtrooper is this? Or clone trooper?
So this is a P1 clone. But you can see it's gone. The color goes from sort of red, orange, to yellow, to green, to blue, to purple.
Oh, I didn't see the
amazing.
I didn't see the blue and purple. I thought it was all black.
It's just because the light isn't picking it up particularly well. And then I got obviously the Welsh flags on the side.
Right. Oh, that looks good.
So this is wearable, right?
So I wore this to wait a sec.
It fits the 6'3" head.
Yeah, it does.
With the sunglasses on.
No, maybe not.
Oh, that's crazy.
Oh, that looks
Perfect
great.
fit. Perfect fit.
Yes. Was it like a local artist who was able to do that, or was it a local artist who did that?
Say again, sorry?
Was it a local artist who you got that from, like Etsy or?
No, I did this myself.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Oh,
That's
wow.
awesome.
That's
Wow,
really
that's
good.
I did
better.
it myself. I spray painted it black, and then I just kind of basically flicked paint on it.
You were a
So,
you were a Pollock right there, like just.
Jackson
Yeah, I thought
Pollock.
that was. I thought that was professional. I thought it was
No,
professionally done.
But I wore this to when the celebration was in London, 2023. Anyway, when Star Wars Celebration was in London,
Oh,
we
that's
went.
wild. Yeah, that
We
looks
got
great.
tickets originally for the whole event, 4
Mhm,
days,
mhm.
but we ended up selling the tickets because it just seemed like quite a lot, and it was quite a big expense to get hotels and stuff. So
Yeah,
we just went for the day. We took my daughter instead of just me and my fiance going for 4
Yeah.
days, and I wore this. And I also made. I wish I had that for show and tell, but I made a bunch of like merch.
Mm.
So basically, I made some cross stitches like this,
Oh,
but in
nice.
the shape of small bookmarks. And I
Okay.
made, I think, about 50 of them. And
Oh,
I made
wow.
like a phase 1 helmet and I used all the different cross stitch colors I could find. So that the coloring, like with the phase 1 helmet has like red, you'd have a kind of red around here and then around here and down. So I did that in cross stitch, about 50 of them in every different color. So there was no two colors alike. And obviously, was given that because they're big into like swag swaps,
Yeah.
celebration. So I was giving those out and getting some stuff back. So the stuff I got back, because people could see that I put effort into, I wasn't just giving out like a random sticker that I printed. People were giving me. So you were going up to people and going, "Oh, I'm doing a swag swap," and I'd give them this, and they'd look at that and they'd go. And they'd be holding out like just a standard sticker, and they'd be like, "Wait a sec, did you just?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I've handmade all of these. It's taken me,
Oh my
taken me about
gosh.
50 hours." And they were like, "Oh, wait a sec," and they'd go in their bag and pull out, and they're like, "Basically, these is the swag we only give when it's good swag in return."
Right.
So they
Oh,
would
okay.
give me like, and I had some fantastic pins and
Returns.
patches.
Yeah. Oh, awesome.
That's
I've
cool.
still got all in a big box because I never had a chance to do anything with them.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it's
yeah,
just
Mhm.
so yeah. So I wore this, and I wore my patch jacket.
That's awesome.
And yeah, so it was like, and it was quite cool to just if I can find one, I'll try and dig one out while we're chatting. But yeah, so that was like really fun, and like lots of recognition afterwards. Then in different communities where people were like, "Oh, you were the guy with the customized helmet," and I'm like, "Yeah, that was me." So
Yeah.
and people sort of sharing which cross stitch color they had.
Oh, that's fun.
And I had a few left over afterwards, and a couple of people reached out and said, "Oh, I saw that you were giving out these cross stitches. Can you make a couple for me and my boyfriend?
Awesome.
We didn't get to have one." And I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
"Actually, I've got a few left, but I'm doing them in
Nice.
swaps." So they sent me stuff then in the post. So even for like months after celebration, I was still giving them out and swapping them.
Again,
So,
community, right? Community.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So this is one I'm working on at the moment.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's the Ahsoka symbol and the Rex symbol mixed together.
Very
but I haven't
cool.
actually finished it, so you can see that's a WIP.
Yeah.
Work in progress.
Love it. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. All right.
Is it my turn?
Nick, you're up.
So my first show and tell, we got 2 packages today.
We did.
And Maria was like, "What did you buy?
I know.
Is this $1,000?"
You know,
I'm like,
I was
"No,
off
it's
this week. There
not."
was no overtime for me.
So we had that gifted purchase, the
Yoshi.
flower.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, Yoshi. So we had the gifted purchase, the flower set, and so
Oh, that was a gifted purchase?
this
Oh,
year,
was it? Wow.
this year's a gifted purchase.
Okay.
So I wanted to get 2 because I wanted to have it as like end caps. So the first set that I got with the gifted purchase is actually a Star Wars set.
Nice.
And do you remember this set, Maria? It was stud bricks at Brick World Chicago.
That's right. He showed
was
this.
Like,
let's show this preview.
It was it hadn't come out yet, and so he was like, "What's in the box? What's in the box?"
He's a land member, and I'm like.
But the reason I wanted to get this was specifically for the exclusive Cal
Kestis,
Kestis minifigure, because this is the last one I need for all the 25. Because I did get the ACOB brick
Same.
shelf,
Mhm.
the case, right? And so this
Yeah.
is the last one that I needed, and so I picked up this, and then the second set I picked up for it was the
Okay. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
F1, the Mercedes. So I have the orange one from, I can't remember what it's called, but I'll show you in the laundry room when I go in there.
Mhm,
But I have that F1, and then when the Red Bull and the Ferrari came out, I was like, okay, it's like a series now. And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I picked up this one. I'm gonna build the other two, and then so I wanted to get all of those together.
Nice.
I'm kind of
Nice.
like a collector
I
that
like
way.
those. I like those colors, the black and the sort of that greenish
Yeah,
color. Yeah, they work really well
Yeah.
together. Yeah.
So I want to show you my Star Wars. Maria might have to. You might not hear me.
I might not hear you. This is a laundry place that, unfortunately, all our Star Wars got
Wow.
into this. And
Wow.
so one of the sets we have that I love is the Ewok Village
Nice.
and it's a double Ewok Village actually, because we used to go
Yeah.
to Philly Brick Fest and we won that set. And
Wow.
Sail Barge.
Well, she
Yeah.
knows the names.
I know. I'm like,
Moss Eisley Cantina.
yes, Mos Eisley. And then see all the rock work that he did
Wow.
there. That's actually from a lot of like GWPs that he just put all together to
Maybe
create.
more than
Yeah.
And we just have another diorama here.
Yeah, I like the dioramas.
So those are ones you guys have built yourself, or are they from like Rebrickable or something?
This is a set.
That's a set.
And then
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah.
I just kind of made
More
Oh,
rock work around it.
Right. Okay.
So these are all sets, but I just kind of combined them together. This is
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
set. I just made a second with my own pieces. I just made a second.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Yeah. Yeah.
What is this called?
The Rancor?
Rancor
Yeah.
kit. I made a second Rancor kit. And then I put this set, which came out, and I kind of just.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Here, this is the one I was talking about.
What is that?
Oh, the Rogue. I've
Yeah,
got that as well. Yeah. Rogue.
And
Oh,
it came
Christ.
with the battle scar.
Battle damaged. Yeah.
Mhm.
And
This is the Malgus
Yeah.
you're talking about.
yeah, that was the one I thought you were talking about. Yeah. Yeah. I can't remember what it's called now. The Rogue.
Here, this guy.
I can see him. Yeah. 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 I got that set as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing I was missing from it was the hair piece from what's the guy called? The young guy who's his
I remember.
I can't remember his name either because I never played the game. See, so but yeah, the hairpiece was missing, so I just reordered that because it was just a standard black hairpiece. But that
Here,
was
my
awesome.
box boys.
That's a great way of keeping them dust free as well. Put them all underneath the set.
Yeah.
And then just a bunch of ships are in here.
Wow.
This here, and then I have like up here. some
But
stuff.
this is like, I don't know, 15 years worth of collecting at this point of our lives, because we got into Lego when our oldest was 7.
Wow. Yeah.
So
And this is the Hoth.
just the Hoth.
Yeah. That's like a shrine to me. That whole place is like a shrine.
Oh, and then this
Wow.
is an idea that
I mean the other F1. So I want to get the 4 F1s.
Nice. Yeah, so I'm not a big cars guy in real life or in Lego, but I do appreciate them. They do look really good. I can't believe how big they are. I don't think I've ever seen one
Mm.
like
Yeah,
that
they're
close out of the box.
Okay, so the sets that I built this week are small,
And
but
one already broke apart.
I know it fell. So the first one,
You're still echoing
sorry, I had to turn the mic on so you can hear me. Were you able to hear me in the laundry
a
room?
little bit.
Mhm.
Okay, so
Oh,
it broke again because it fell.
this was
This is
Sleeping Beauty's castle,
the Disneyland,
Aurora. The Disneyland, yes.
the one from Disneyland,
And Brian from Minifig 801 seems to be at Disneyland this weekend.
Sleeping Beauty Castle. Oh, you have the exactly same sets.
Ooh, yes.
Can you make him
But
big?
These have been built as well, but a couple of weeks back. But yeah, what's the chances?
I know.
I know.
Because I've had these sets for a long time, but then I just ended up building it.
And I'm like, how come
This-
I missed this
this
one?
week.
But I mean, I didn't.
But what frustrates me about these is that both of these sets, I bought these for Kirsty for Christmas. She built them recently, and they're both on display in our living room. But do you think any of my Star Wars Lego can make it into a living room? No chance.
So what I like about this is 360. It looks great, even
Yeah.
from the back. It has
Yeah.
great detail.
Lots of Unikitty unicorn horns there.
And then
Yeah,
this one reminds
a
me
lot.
of the one in the original Disneyland
It is.
castle
It
as
is.
well,
Yes.
because
Yeah.
of the pink as well. So yeah.
Yes.
This is the one from Los Angeles.
Yeah.
The one from Florida is this guy here.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we got that one as well somewhere, but I don't know where.
And then the other set that he built is the
other one that you were holding up.
Agrabah. This is a fun one.
Yeah,
I like all
what they
the
build
chrome
techniques.
gold
Yeah,
pieces there.
So they have a flying.
Are those new
carpet?
disc pieces? Like I've never really noticed them before. Like the ones that are the top of the
Maybe in
towers.
chrome.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure if they've come in chrome.
Mm.
Like chrome gold. Sorry.
Mhm.
But yeah, 360 as well. It looks great.
mm-hmm.
It kind of reminds me of the Taj Mahal.
It does.
Yeah.
But yeah,
This
I
is
like the whole.
printed.
There's a nice,
Nice printed piece
Mhm.
there.
Yeah.
There's no stickers.
and there's like the magic carpet with a lamp over there as a nice
Yeah.
touch for detail.
Unfortunately, it doesn't come with a minifigure.
Oh.
All the other ones come with minifigures.
Yeah, I thought that was weird as well.
Strange.
Like
Yeah.
I have two more here. So
Oh, wow.
Ariel comes
Yeah, I
with
didn't get the Ariel one for her because I don't know, and I didn't get the Peter Pan one. We got the Haunted Mansion, yeah,
Yeah, Haunted Mansion's fun. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
but
Peter
the
Pan.
Ariel one, I think it was because it was a mini doll. But yeah, I didn't
Oh.
get. I think the
yeah, mini
Peter
doll.
Pan one looks cool, but she
Yeah.
didn't really like that one. But yeah, it does look
Yeah.
nice though.
So
Wow.
not a lot of
Lovely.
it. Oh, and then from last week, this is where I put
Ninjago.
Ninjago Market.
Mark.
It's in here.
I feel like we
Ninjago
have no
shop.
more space for future.
So this is
Ninjago
the
and-
pool table, right? This is the
Yeah.
amount of space here that we have from here to here now. So when you're doing one of these things,
Yeah.
you're gonna hit your elbow on this unless you use like the smaller pool.
Or maybe
set.
if you're short like me, you're still able to play with this.
So
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is the only this is the only danger spot. If the ball is like right
Yeah.
here
Yeah.
and you're trying to hit this way, all the
Right,
other
yeah.
spots, as you can see, are in pool
Pretty clear
table,
still.
should be okay.
Rogue Shadow.
Rogue Shadow. You're right.
Rogue.
That's what it's called. Okay.
So good show and tell. Thanks
That's
for sharing
my
all
show
those
and
books. I
tell.
really appreciate it. I love.
Yeah, so
I love-
I found a couple of these leftover thingies that I was telling you about. So
Oh, cool.
Oh, nice.
How long
if
does
you
it
could
take
just
you to make one of those? I mean, like for you to say you made 50 of
I-
them.
I don't know, maybe about half an hour each.
Okay.
But what I did is I put Star Wars Celebration in the L obviously represents London. So I did the color of the L to match the color of the helmet. But these are the last sort of three I had. So it's a yellow. green and
Oh,
red.
very nice.
But I
Wow.
mean, I've got so many. Like this is my box. This is just one of my boxes of
Yes,
colors.
no, I have something similar upstairs.
Are you gonna do a Brick World? Something for Brick World?
Well, this is. I was showing these off in one of our streams, and the guys were saying you need to do something like that for Brick World, and I'm just like, I don't know though, because with Star Wars it's quite easy because this is just everyone
Right.
can recognize what this is. But
Correct.
how would I connect that? I'd need to be able to do something Lego.
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
tried
yeah.
doing Lego cross stitches before. But they
Can you
just-
cross stitch like something about you, like your logo or something about Cool Han?
I guess so. I mean,
That
some
could
people
be-
just said, just do this again, but put CHL, like Cool Hand Luke, or something like that, or
Yeah.
BW. And I was just like, I
Mm.
don't know, though. I don't know whether I'd want it to be something Lego inspired, but I don't know. I haven't really. I need to probably start thinking about it, but I haven't done enough.
I mean, no pressure, right?
No
Because like
pressure.
you want to just be able to attend your Chicago Brick World
And enjoy it.
and enjoy it.
Yeah, so we've already said that we're going to get some T-shirts printed for us guys to go
fun.
matching.
That's fun. Yeah.
And then the guys were saying, well, no, you need to get T-shirts printed for everybody who's coming to the Bachelor. And I was like, well, that's practically everybody, male and female Lego. So you guys as well, and invited. I was saying I want to go to Medieval Times.
Yeah, that's right. We did that 2 years ago.
Do I really want to go to Medieval Times? Because effectively, it's the history of my own country.
Yeah.
So I'm surrounded by it already. I mean, Wales has got more castles per square foot of country than any other country in the world. Like, so, I mean, there's literally a castle down the road from me. So
that's crazy. Who are these castle owners?
Medieval Times will be rowdy.
Well, they belong. They officially belong to the people now. So in a lot of cases, you don't have to pay to. You don't have to pay
to go to the castle. That's cool.
And a lot of them have, updated them inside. So there's like attraction. They make attraction out of them.
Yeah.
But
well, this is what was humbling. Like, I mean, I've lived in North America most of my life, and you go back to Asia, you go back to Europe, and it's like so old. We're like really babies here. Like our oldest city here, like, Quebec City, it's like, 1700s. And you're like, okay, this is the oldest church here. But you go and see the Tower of London, it's like 1066 and it's still like up. And you're like, oh my God, like it's amazing. Mind boggling.
There's buildings in my town. In the middle of the town, we got a place called Llanelli House, which is like a museum stroke cafe at the moment, and that is probably older than, I think that was the first thing that was here. It was just that and the field surrounding it.
Yeah,
so the guy lived there and all the field around it. Into a town, and I think it was built in like 800 and something.
Wow.
Or something
That's
like
crazy.
that. I
Amazing.
don't know. Obviously, I don't know how far back that kind of building goes.
It's humbling, that history, you know what I mean? And you feel the ancientness.
Crazy.
Like you feel the ancientness. Like you're like, wow.
Yeah,
it's
it is a very, very old town. And like I said, when you go to places in America, I haven't been to Canada yet myself, but
we're too new.
You think like everything feels crisp and fresh, like,
So, we are.
But it's funny actually, because I meant to reach out to my cousin, because I've got a cousin who lives in Toronto as well.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah, Drew, and he's so I meant to say to him, like, if he's probably not into Lego or Star Wars, as far as I know.
You never know.
But I was like,
a ton of Lego stores around here.
I should have got him to tune in, because it's. So I tried to tap into the whole, because I think you guys have got probably the most cultured Lego show out there, where you really sort of talk about like history, background, and stuff like that. And I like all that kind of stuff, because I really connect with that kind of thing. So that's why I was excited. One of the many reasons I was excited to be on the show. But it was like I really got into the kind of Welsh Canadian vibe, and I found out some things as well. So that song that I put on my story by an artist who's got a song out at the moment by Elio, whatever her name is Elio.
Okay, Elio.
So she's Welsh Canadian.
Oh.
So she's from Wales and lives in Canada. And I was like, oh, wow, what are the chances?
Well, what are the chances? It was meant to be. It was meant to be.
The first thing I Googled was Welsh Canadian connection. And it was like song by ELO currently.
Oh, cool.
And I was like, they got it on Instagram. Right, I'm using that. I wonder if anyone would connect to it. Like, so.
That's what you do a lot.
I do. Songs. I like to connect things. I like to, I don't know. I like to find meaning there, right? So.
And I also used a Welsh hip hop band for one of my posts about this show as well, just because I thought,
very cool.
Why not?
Yeah, for sure. Our very last bit here.
All right, we're gonna go into our last segment.
Maybe there's not much.
Which is
it's time for news you can use.
Alan the Brick Band. Where's the Brick Band? Share screen. I already prepared it.
Oh, amazing. This is the quickest.
Okay. News that you can use. Thanks to Alan the Brick Band.
Oh, Easter tote bag. Oh no, I have to not see these tote bags.
So the new gift with purchase promotion is live. Easter tote bag.
It's not too Lego-y. I mean, I guess.
It's got the daffodil on there.
Yep, the daffodil on there.
There you go.
National flower, yeah.
And these are brick belt
bunnies.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the minimum purchase for these?
150 in the
Whoa,
US.
that's steep. No, you can get a purchase of $60. That you can get it
Oh.
for $60 of City Creator or 3-in-1
Oh, the
Dreams.
botanicals. The
The
one that I showed
botanical is
was
150 purchase. Got it.
That
Okay,
still seems
60.
quite high for a bag.
But you have to
Yeah.
buy
City
Creator
Creator or 3-in-1 Dreams. I
or
know, for
Friends,
a
which
bag.
I don't really.
Wait, not even
Wow.
botanicals? That's kind of weird.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Lego Idea Scooby Doo
Oh,
Ravenwood Mansion version
10,000
2.
supporters. That looks good. Oh, I like the spiraling vines around that.
Yeah.
That looks very
Wait, so
cool.
do these people send you this news to
No,
show?
this is
This is the Brick Fan. So
so
it's
if
just
you-
like it's just a website.
Okay.
yes.
But we've
Right.
met him. We've
Yeah.
met
Right,
the guy who does this, Alan.
Okay.
Here, Alan Termentulus. We met him at Philly Brick Fest.
So he gets a lot of these spoilers through, I don't know. He just has the contacts.
Well, this is not really
But
a spoiler. This is
him
just
posting it
if
on-
you're
yes.
keeping up with Lego ideas, you
Yeah.
can see
was at
which ones
10,000
achieve
supporters,
10,000.
yeah.
So
Yeah, because
this is
isn't Greg and CPA doing a show on Sunday? They're doing a show in connection with Bricklink for the Bricklink Designer Program.
oh
No, this is kind of this is Bricklink Designer Program, right?
no, this is Lego
Ideas.
ideas.
Mhm.
Sorry, no, I've seen it.
Sometimes
I saw Bricklink Designer Program on the side there under categories, so I think I'm getting
Oh,
mixed
okay.
up there.
No.
But yeah, they're doing that show, and I was gutted because they're doing it at the same time as our normal slot. So I was like,
Right.
ugh.
right. Well, there's always Replay Gang.
Mm-hmm.
Lego Ideas
Golden
Golden Girls.
Did you?
Is Golden Girls in the UK? Do you guys ever get to show?
Yeah,
the
it
Golden
is,
Girls?
but it's not. I don't think the humor quite
Popular.
lands.
It's
Yeah.
from the 80s.
Yeah.
Mm.
This does really look like Sophia,
Oh,
doesn't it?
yeah,
The
it does.
face?
It does.
And this does really look like
Nick likes his Golden Girls.
I used to watch this when I was little. Golden
I
Girls.
didn't.
Maria didn't watch the Golden Girls. Lego Pick a Brick available again
Oh.
in North America.
Mm.
I don't really do this, the Pick a Brick
Yeah.
online.
Yeah.
Do you do this?
Same.
No.
No, I do Bricklink generally.
I think sometimes Harold picks up things from Pick a Brick.
Mhm.
Like if he was doing like armies and stuff, like
Mhm.
torsos.
16,000 parts.
Lego
Oh,
Group CEO talks
I did not
Trump
read about
tariffs.
this yet. Let's see.
Political.
Oh,
As far as raising prices for Lego sets here in the US, it would depend if the tariffs are permanent or temporary, and they would react for the long term. And it's hard to say at this moment in time.
If the Lego sets are gonna be
Yeah,
raised.
yeah. Said that if there are tariffs for Mexico, it would impact the company.
Hmm.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll see. A lot of things are still unfolding. Creator 3-in-1 pirate ship for March 2025. I do like pirates.
I didn't pick
Oh,
this
wow.
up.
wait, 3-in-1. What are the other two alternates for this?
A
It
barge.
is-
What?
Skull Island.
Oh, look at that. It's like a skull, like an
Yeah.
inlet.
Skull Island, yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then like a barge, I think. What is that? Another kind of barge.
I'm not sure. It's
Hmm.
hard to see. I can't.
Mhm.
I can't zoom in anymore.
Right.
Yeah, that's cool.
You do the 3-in-1s at all? Did you ever do the 3-in-1s?
I've gotten a couple for my daughter and for Kirsty, but no, I'm a Star Wars like
Full setter.
purist, but also Tron. If they release Tron, I'll break away from being a Star Wars purist.
You have the Tron Lego
Yeah,
idea
light
set.
cycles. Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
only thing I've ever bought for myself that isn't Star Wars.
That's a good one. Lego
in-house.
building in-house game development team.
Hmm.
I'm not sure what this is.
Mentioned the company is building up an in-house game development. They team up with Epic Games to produce Lego Fortnite.
In
So
the
I
past,
guess-
they made games like as Lego Star Wars, Harry Potter, Marvel, DC.
I guess it just says Lego wants to now develop development games themselves as well.
Hmm.
And looking to other companies
Okay.
for partnerships.
What else do we have? Oh, this is now available.
This is huge. I've seen so many posts of this, and
The Jurassic World dinosaur fossil.
yeah, this is very
T-Rex.
not Star Wars. So
I'm not getting this.
I
But-
can still respect it though because it looks really cool.
yes,
It
yes.
does.
I do like.
Look how big it looks
dinosaurs.
compared to the minifigure
It is.
size.
I know. I've seen
Wow.
people carry it around in their
Humongous.
Instagram accounts, and I'm
Oh,
like,
they
wow.
already built it
Yeah.
on Instagram?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. So apparently, this part is the size of like the set that already came out, the head,
Right.
and then now
The
we
entire
have the whole
body adds
body.
on. The
So.
T-Rex. It looks magnificent.
3,145 pieces, $250
US.
US.
Yeah.
So
Wow. So it's almost like a UCS style.
Yeah.
it is. It is. It
This
has
is,
like the UCS plaque here.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and gold as
Whatever,
well.
yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Mhm.
gold. I wonder if this is printed. It might be.
Might be.
It's hard to tell if this
What,
is the
what is that? What is that in front of it?
Like
This?
this?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what that is.
Oh,
Looks like
maybe
a fire
part of
pit
a
or something.
base. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's orangey. I don't know.
Hmm.
And then the botanicals, that's a freebie.
Oh, this. I'm excited
Yeah.
about this.
This
My
one is
daughter would
released
love this.
when?
Super Mario.
It looks
Mario
really,
Kart.
really good. I like how it's so smooth.
Look how the
It's
brick
really
build.
Yeah.
well done.
It's brick build.
So
Detail
well
is
done.
But
fantastic.
it looks just like
Yes,
Mario.
Yes.
That's got to
Like
be a new element for the mustache, though, right? Or
Uh,
is it upside down cloud piece? No, it isn't. It's
No,
no,
I
I
think
think it
it's
is a new element.
Unique.
I don't
Yeah.
recognize it.
No, he looks so good.
So you can probably expect a Luigi coming after this.
What, you're already thinking of Luigi?
Well, it only makes sense,
Okay.
right?
And when is Mario releasing?
This is coming out. I'm
Hmm.
not sure. I know there's another post coming up. This
Okay.
is just pre-order
I
post.
see.
Like the actual release post is coming up after.
Lilo and Stitch. Ideas announced this.
Parking lot concept.
Record profits, good for you, Lego.
Oh, here. So
Oh.
this is the officially announced Mario. It's coming out May 15th.
Ah.
I love Mario Kart. We're a big Mario family. We got like all the
Mhm.
games, Mario Party. I've played and
Oh,
owned every
wow.
version of Mario Kart
Nice.
Wow.
over the years. I love it.
Yeah, this is
So is this accurate to how the Mario Kart looks like?
I think
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Really
It's
good.
pretty good.
Hmm.
So are you buying this even though it's not Star Wars? Is this going to be
It's for his daughters.
Yeah,
So it's like,
I might buy
you
it.
know,
I might buy it for my daughter Maya. Shout out to Maya. I think I'll.
Okay.
M
I
for
might get
Maya
that
right
there.
there. It's perfect.
but you'll be happy that it's kind of in your collection.
Yeah, definitely. I think it looks fantastic. But I bought her the Grogu, the buildable Grogu
Oh, yeah,
figure
yeah,
a
that's
couple of
nice.
years back, and she still hasn't finished it. I think she just kind of got fed up with
Yeah.
it. So
Mm.
yeah. But yeah, so she's drifted away from Lego a little bit, like in terms of like
Mhm.
playing with it. But I think something like this to put on display, I think she would really enjoy.
Yeah.
So
Do it still. No, it looks so good. For sure.
That might be it. Acro Mills. Do you do this at all for parts?
no, they're
Storage.
really, for some reason, they're really expensive in this country for those things.
Oh.
I've
Yeah, a
never
lot
been
of,
able to find them at a different right price. So I've got all my stuff sorted into like crates, and I've got like these kind of things, which are seem to be a lot, for whatever reason, seem to be a lot cheaper. Not as useful, but I've got my parts in like a bunch of these.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Like
Mhm.
tackle boxes.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so I got like a bunch of these, and then like crates and drawers, like these kind of drawers as well. A bunch of these things.
So I think
These
here.
kind of-
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So I got them in that as opposed to
Yeah.
those, but
Yeah. I think Harold gets them like Walmart sometimes, Target.
Yeah. A lot of Bricklink stores have
Mhm.
their pieces sorted.
Yeah.
out.
Mhm.
have you ever seen Ken from Brick Dynasty's sort of
Collection?
background?
Oh, no.
So
I've
where
checked-
you guys have got like that surrounded wall to wall with Lego, he's surrounded wall to wall with these, and they're probably.
Nice.
I think it looks
Oh.
like it's about 7 foot, and it's literally the
Wow.
entire, probably about the same size as your room, but
Yeah.
just with these and all
Wow.
parts, and it's just like. And
Is
that's
it
not
for
all
a
of it,
Bricklink
but
store or is it for his collection to make mocks?
both.
Both.
He has got a Bricklink store, but he does do a lot of building as well. And it's just, I just, you see him doing this, and he's kind of sat back, and it's literally just, and he knows where like he'll say,
Everything is, yeah.
right, third one up, sixth across, what's in there? And he'll be like, oh, that's orange
Oh, that's crazy.
4x4. And then we'll be like, yeah, go and check. And he'll go and grab it. And he'll be like, there you go. And I'm like, wow. So
That's funny.
Yeah.
So there's actually 44 drawers. 24,
Wow.
26, 44.
Yeah, those prices are good.
so that's really good prices because they're nothing like that here.
Yeah, we saw these ones
Ah.
last week.
Did we see these? Yeah,
Yeah,
we saw the
the
Shire.
Shire.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fun.
All right.
Oh,
So-
Lego, stop showing me fun things.
So Kulon, what are you up to this weekend?
Working.
Working, right?
Yes.
Working in about 5 hours time.
Okay, yeah.
You're gonna
gotta
get
do
some reading done too?
I know. I don't know how you have all this time to cross stitch and read. I'm jealous. Jealous.
Yeah, well, yeah, I don't, that's the point though. I don't really. It's a little bit of I've got so many different hobbies because
Yeah. Same.
I like to build Lego, but I also like to do rebrickable builds, and I
Mhm.
also like to do alternate builds. Plus, I'm doing streaming and I'm making content, and I do
Yes.
build streams as well now and then. So between that and my other hobbies, I don't get, and I'm working a lot, so I don't
Yeah.
actually. So I get to do like a little pieces of everything
Yeah.
over a long period of time. So hence why I'm halfway through so many books.
Yeah.
Then
Which book are you gonna tackle next then, of all the ones that you showed us?
I wanna finish King Solomon's Mines because it's actually
Mm.
really gripping,
Okay.
and it's written in a really good way. Whereas War of the Worlds, even though it's kind of recent-ish history, I
Yeah.
guess the way it's
Yeah.
written is like instead of saying 65, they'll say 65.
Yeah.
I'm like,
you're
who the hell
Mm.
talks like that? Who talks
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that?
You're making me do
And-
math that
and-
way.
And it's just stuff. And when they're talking, like I've seen the War of the Worlds films,
Mhm.
and you're reading it, and it's talking about something, and he's describing something. And I'm like, what the hell is he talking about? And it turns out he's describing like a cannon. And it's just like the wording they use, and the
Yeah.
language they use.
Yeah, it's
it
harder.
can be frustrating. I got to keep, sometimes when you're trying to read, and like perhaps there's a distraction, and you find yourself reading the same paragraph
Yes.
over and over again.
Yes.
Well, I'm doing that in total silence because I'm like, wait, what is he talking about?
Yeah.
Read it again. Wait, what the hell is he on about?
Yeah.
So,
So are
yeah.
these library books or are they your own books? And if they're your own books, do you have them in a library in your house?
Like shelves.
Like shelves?
Well, to be honest with you, if we did have shelves for libraries, would it probably be about, shelves for books. It'd probably be, I mean, this is about 7 foot, I think, by about 3 foot. And I think I'd probably fill about 4 of these between myself and my fiance with books.
Yes.
But again, just like everything else, and because of the fact that we've moved so many times, they're all our books are in storage apart from anything
Crates.
we've
Yes.
dug out recently.
Yes.
So they're all up in the loft or in the attic
Ooh, a
in
book
boxes.
loft.
So pretty much, yeah, because we got a 3-story house, so effectively our
Right.
top floor is our
Yeah.
what would be the attic.
Yeah.
I mean, it was built that way; it's not been converted, but
Right.
so our attic space is kind of to the sides of that top room.
Okay.
So it's quite easy to access. You're not kind of going up a ladder to get to it, but like as you go into the attic space, this side is purely just boxes and boxes of books.
Yeah. Oh, it's so fun. Yeah.
What are we up to?
Yeah.
What are you up to?
Well, because it's March break, usually our Saturdays are full of activities for the boys, but we're on a hiatus for that too, so it's a bit of a nice reprieve. I don't know, just
The end of your
the end of my
holiday.
vacation. I feel like I had a lot of holidays. I like having a lot of holidays between January and March. It helps buffer all the darkness here and
it's
Mm.
actually
whatnot.
supposed to be warming up tomorrow, maybe about 15,
16
16
degrees Celsius. So,
So
that's nice and
I might
spring.
take our youngest to play basketball
Okay.
because we haven't really done that outside. in a while.
Yeah. So yeah, just taking it easy, maybe clean, and then get ready for school and work for Monday. So
Yeah.
The older I get, I feel like I want to do less, but of course my less is still like, well, we're gonna do this and this and this and this. Really, like things find me, right? So
Yeah. I had 2 days off, and I was like, right, I'm going to use these 2 days off to relax and
Yeah,
just maybe
never.
do some
Did you
content,
relax?
maybe do some hobbies, and then the list. Oh, actually, I need to fix that kitchen cupboard. Or
Yeah.
actually, I need to do that. And actually,
Well,
and
that
then
thing's
before,
done.
it's a huge list. So
yeah, it's a huge list, and I don't know, I can't sit and relax until I know things are done, put away, tidied up, like vacuum, right?
Kulhan, before we sign out, what would you like to plug? Where can people find you? When's your show again?
okay. So Cool Hand Luke show. If guys don't already know, it's a spin on the movie Cool Hand Luke, but obviously changed hand for Han.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
Han and Luke. A lot of people keep asking me what the hell's the name all about. So it's that. It's my favorite movie, and I'm a huge fan of. Oh Christ, I've just forgotten his name. Who's the guy who plays Cool Hand Luke?
I haven't seen Cool Hand Luke.
You've never seen the film Cool Hand Luke?
Oh, I have
Oh,
to
you
look
have
up
to-
IMDb.
I have to IMDb this now.
I've totally forgotten his name.
I thought
It's
it
supposed-
was just Han as in Han Solo, Luke as in Luke Skywalker, and you're cool. So I thought that was like that's why.
Yeah,
you
it
made
is. That's
Cool
what I'm
Han
saying.
Luke.
It's a play on words, but obviously it's based on the movie Cool Hand Luke. But yeah, favorite actor and favorite movie.
Oh, 1967. Cool Han
Weird
Luke.
thing, he's my favorite actor, and I don't actually remember his name.
This
Christ.
was even
Oh,
before
him.
Star
I know
Wars.
him. Hang
Paul
on.
Newman.
Paul Newman.
Paul Newman, of course. Yeah, I
Paul
don't know. I
Newman.
got a jar of
He's
his
a
sauce
handsome
in my fridge.
He's a
But
super
yeah.
handsome one. Yes.
Oh, I didn't really.
So-
I don't know this.
Now we gotta watch
It's
it.
You
8
should
out
watch
of
this.
10.
It's a
8
Academy
out of
fantastic
10
movie.
on IMDb.
Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor.
Yeah,
Cool
it's a
Han
fantastic
Luke.
movie and really quotable as well. But anyway, so the Cool Hand Luke show is on my YouTube channel, which is Cool Hand Luke Bricks, on a Sunday at 7 p.m. So that'd be 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. I think it is at the moment in the US. And yeah, we usually go for roughly the same time as you guys, 3 to 4 hours, and topical show. We talk about lots of different things. But yeah, also find me on Instagram if
Yes.
you're into that kind of thing. Generally, I only use Instagram to promote the show, but I do the odd thing now and then. But
Also cool.
yeah,
Also Cool Han Luke on Instagram
Yes, that's right.
and
Cool
YouTube.
Cool Hand
Han.
Luke Bricks, yeah.
Nice.
And that's it. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's me.
awesome.
So
Nice.
Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Cut out. Can you hear us talking? Are we? You
Are
can
we
hear
good?
us? You can hear
Yeah.
us or not yet?
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
all right.
Sometimes there's a
Yeah.
pause, but thanks so much again for hanging out with us for episode 10, season 6 of Full of Brick. It was amazing talking to you. So I can't wait to meet you in person in a few months. But
Time
also,
just flew by. 3 hours.
I
You
know.
didn't even realize.
no, I just looked up in the corner. I was like, oh my god, it's been 3 hours.
Yes. But special thanks to all those who also popped into our chat, like Brian from Minifig 801, Wex Bricks, Papa Rex, Hoarder 66, Brick Dynasty, Witaki, Brick Babe TV, Lego Team B, No More Bricks, Joel's Bricks, Never Told for Lego Fit, Lego Guy, and Brick by Brick together. Until next time again.
Yes, it was so much fun getting to chat with you, getting to meet you, getting to share all these stories.
Appreciate
I know.
Appreciate you having me on. I really appreciate it. I really had fun, and
Well,
it was
thank
worth
you for
the
staying
lack
up.
of sleep.
And now you got to sleep. And until we see you in June.
Yeah, we will see you in Chicago. And until next time, everyone. Merry Christmas and bye.
Bye.